Chapter 1681. The disciples of my sacred maiden tribe are all elites. How can a child have such power? The elder in Xian's expression did not look any better. Can't you see that this is not a human child? If I'm not wrong, he should be a tree. A tree? Xianxia's body stiffened. If it was someone else, they might not be able to see through the identity of the small tree. However, the sacred maiden tribe did not lack trees with intelligence. Therefore, the elder in Xian could know the true identity of the small tree. Impossible. Trees can develop intelligence, but they cannot transform into humans like spirit beasts, just like the lost tree of life of our sacred maiden tribe. Xianxia bit her lip tightly and could not believe what she had seen. Su Jun, who was still hiding behind the crowd, suddenly said, "Elders, Lady Xianxia, only the sacred maiden tribe deserves to have the tree man. Therefore, you should take this tree man back. No, it should be, let this woman return the tree man intact." Xianxia's eyes moved. If the sacred maiden tribe could get this tree man, their strength would double. In contrast, the elders' faces sank again, and their cold eyes shot to Su Jun behind the crowd. Idiots who wish for the world to be in chaos. This tree man was very strong. Wasn't it equivalent to seeking death to snatch the tree man with their own abilities? Moreover, for a tree that had developed intelligence, it would be more difficult than ascending to the sky to make it loyal. It was no wonder that the elders were furious with Su Jun's words. "Miss," the elder in Xian took a deep breath and looked up at Yin Luofeng. "You have also killed many people of our sacred maiden tribe. Why don't we write off this account? A wise man submits to the circumstances. This tree man's strength was extraordinary, so they had to be careful." Yin Luofeng raised an eyebrow. "Let me leave, I can, but I have two requirements. First, my sister must appear in front of me unscathed. If she loses a single strand of hair, I will kill one person. If she loses 2 strands, I will kill 2 people until the entire sacred maiden tribe is wiped out." Su Jun's eyelids twitched, and he subconsciously took 2 steps back. He saw that his words did not provoke the possessiveness of the sacred maiden tribe and could only find a way to leave this place. Second, Yin Luofeng paused, then continued, "Anyone who participated in the kidnapping of my sister must be handed over to me." The elders looked at each other. In the end, it was the green-robed elder who had a better temper who said, "Miss, I can let your sister go. As for your other requests, please forgive me for not being able to agree." Yin Luofeng shrugged. "Since that's the case, there's no need to negotiate. Miss, do you really think that our sacred maiden tribe is easy to bully? That's right, your tree men are indeed very powerful, but my sacred maiden tribe has been passed down for so many years. It's not like we don't have any means. If you insist on fighting, my sacred maiden tribe will accompany you to the end." The green-robed elder was getting impatient. "It's not wrong that you, Yin Luofeng, have a treant, but my sacred maiden tribe has been passed down for so many years and still holds the highest position, precisely because of the sacred maiden tribe's trump card. Otherwise, the sacred maiden tribe would not have remained in such a high position after the disappearance of the patriarch." 1. Just as the elders of the sacred maiden tribe were threatening Yin Luofeng with words, Yin Luofeng gave an irrelevant answer and said a number. Everyone was stunned. They did not understand what she meant. 2. The woman's lips curled up, her dark eyes incomparably deep. Chapter 1682. The green-clothed elder's face darkened. "Miss, what do you mean? Are you looking down on us?" Yin Luofeng continued speaking as if he had not heard her words. 3. An evil smile suddenly appeared on her beautiful face, and her black eyes gradually turned to Su Jun, who was about to escape. "Are you sure that Xiao Bai was kidnapped by me?" Su Jun stopped in his tracks when he heard Yin Luofeng's words. He raised his head in surprise and looked straight into the woman's half-smiling eyes. When he saw the smile in the woman's eyes, Su Jun felt a sense of unease. Before he could figure out what was going on, a familiar voice appeared out of thin air and fell into everyone's ears. "Master, what's going on with that woman called by Xiao? Why does she call me successor? And what is this place?" Lin Ruobai's body swayed and disappeared from the Tree of Life. When she opened her eyes, she was frightened by everything in front of her. What's going on? Master is fighting with someone? No way. As a disciple, I must help Master fight. Thinking of this, Lin Ruobai excitedly rubbed her small fists with an evil smile on her face. In fact, when Yun Luofeng counted to 3, Lin Ruobai had already woken up. However, she was frightened by Bai Xiao and was in a daze for a while. Who knew that Bai Xiao did not explain anything to her and kicked her out of the Tree of Life, so she was still kept in the dark until now. Bai Xiao, the Tree of Life, Bai Xiao. Qin Shui's body suddenly stiffened, and she stared angrily at Yun Luofeng. So it was you who stole our holy maiden tribe's Tree of Life. She only heard the 2 words Bai Xiao, and as for how Bai Xiao addressed Lin Ruobai, she had ignored it. Shut up. The green-clothed elder, who was still in a daze, suddenly slapped Qin Shui's face. In an instant, her cheeks were red and swollen. Elder, the green-clothed elder, suddenly walked quickly toward Lin Ruobai. Lin Ruobai was shocked. When she regained her senses, she shouted angrily, "Get lost!" Those who fought with Master were not good people. Bang! Lin Ruobai's strength slammed into the azure-clothed elder's body, and the completely defenseless azure-clothed elder instantly retreated 2 steps. The instant Lin Ruobai made his move, the azure-clothed elder saw a red light in the girl's eyes. This red light was not a bloodthirsty light. Instead, it was as dazzling as a flame. It filled his eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. That's right, it's her. She's the young clan leader. I can't be wrong. Qin Shui was stunned. This young lady was the young clan leader? If he didn't hear wrongly, she seemed to have called Yun Luofeng Master before. Master? Who is this old pervert? Lin Ruobai pursed her lips and tilted her head to look at Yun Luofeng. She immediately noticed little Mo, who was standing beside Yun Luofeng. Thus, her eyes immediately lit up. Little Mo was still thinking about the problem, but when he looked up, he found that Lin Ruobai had already rushed in front of him, hugged his neck tightly, and kissed him on the lips. Little Mo was completely dumbfounded by what he saw. His first kiss was taken away by this girl. Although Lin Ruobai had kissed him before, she had kissed his cheeks. This time, she actually kissed his lips? Little Mo, I missed you so much. Lin Ruobai giggled. Now that I've recovered, I have to fulfill my promise to marry you. Chapter 1683. Xiao Mo blushed. If it was a few years ago, he would have rejected Little White's words in front of everyone. But now, he was so shy that he couldn't say a word. In particular, the girl's soft and sweet lips made him want to kiss them again. It's you. Lin Ruobai finally saw Su Jun. Her cute little face immediately fell. Although Lin Ruobai had lost her memories in the past, she still remembered everything that had happened during that period of time. She also knew that Su Jun had been pestering her. Su Jun had originally wanted to take this opportunity to escape, but who knew that Lin Ruobai's words would cause everyone's gaze to converge on Su Jun, forcing him to stop in his tracks, his handsome face turning deathly pale. Lin Ruobai put her hands on her hips and raised her chin proudly. Back then, I lost my memory and was ignorant of everything. That's why I was deceived by someone like you, and lived with you for a year. What's funny is that you wanted to leave Master. My Master is not only my savior, but also my achievements today are all thanks to her teachings. Lin Ruobai became angrier the more she thought about it. She wanted to slap herself. Why did she believe such a person? She even caused trouble for her master. At this point, Lin Ruobai paused for a moment before continuing. Aside from this, my master is my only relative other than my parents. What right do you have to make me abandon my family and follow you? In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on Su Jun's face. Their eyes were filled with surprise, disbelief, and anger. Of course, the last angry look came from Qin Shui. Lin Ruobai still didn't know what happened and was still listing Su Jun's crimes. Moreover, I already have Xiao Mo. It's even more impossible for me to like you. The only husband I want to marry is Xiao Mo. But you bastard, you want to harm my master and Xiao Mo because of this. I will never let you go. Su Jun's face turned from green to white, then from white to green. Qin Shui screamed and rushed toward Su Jun. She kicked Su Jun's chest and sent him flying. That was not enough. She had already rushed to Su Jun and punched him in the face. Tears of anger flowed from her eyes. Bastard, you lied to me. You actually lied to me. Qin Shui shouted herself hoarse, wishing that she could vent all of her anger on Su Jun. If it weren't for you, my sister wouldn't have died. So many people from the Sacred Maiden tribe wouldn't have died, and I wouldn't have been implicated. It's all because of you, you bastard, who spread lies to avenge your personal grudge. That's why you've harmed so many people. Su Jun was beaten to the point where he had no strength to resist. In a short moment, his handsome face swelled up like a pig's head, and fresh blood flowed out of his mouth. Lin Ruobai looked at Yun Luofeng in confusion. Master, what exactly is going on? At this moment, little Mo had gradually regained his composure. He walked to Yun Luofeng's side, but his eyes were still on Lin Ruobai. Xiao Bai, it's like this. Next, little Mo told Lin Ruobai about the matter. When Lin Ruobai learned that he was the successor of the Sacred Maiden tribe, and that Su Jun had used this matter to frame Yun Luofeng, his anger was instantly ignited, and he angrily turned to Qin Shui. Get out of my way. Let me do it. Anyone who bullied Master deserved to die. Chapter 1684. Qin Shui was stunned for a moment. Before she could react, she saw Lin Ruobai's body flying towards Su Jun. A heart-wrenching scream echoed through the clouds and lingered for a long time. Su Jun's face was pale from the pain, and he almost fainted. If it wasn't for his strong willpower, he would have died from the pain. Little Mo looked at Lin Ruobai in a daze. Her body shivered involuntarily. Master, I think, if I marry Xiao Bai, I can't provoke her in the future. Otherwise, even if I don't die, I will lose half my life. Yun Luofeng curled his lips and looked at little Mo with a smile that was not a smile. It seemed that little Mo had tacitly agreed to marry Lin Ruobai as her husband. Coincidentally, Lin Ruobai's foot landed on Su Jun's crotch. Coupled with the fact that she was flying through the air, the force of her attack was unimaginable. Blood even flowed from his crotch, staining the ground red. Who asked you to bully my master and frame her? Lin Ruobai's eyes flashed red. With a bang, her small fist landed on Su Jun's body. Boom! A large part of Su Jun's chest caved in. It was obvious that Lin Ruobai's fist had broken his ribs, and there was no way to repair them. Su Jun's mouth continued to bleed. He looked at Lin Ruobai with fear in his eyes and said in a muffled voice, I saved you in the past. Lin Ruobai snorted softly. Her small fist continued to land on Su Jun's face, causing him to be unable to utter another word. That's right. You did save me when I lost my memory, but you thought that I liked you. You even framed my master because of this. It seems that you had an ulterior motive for taking me in. Even if I disregard this, I will never forgive you for bullying my master. So what if she was ungrateful? Even if she was cursed by the world, she would never forgive anyone who bullied her master. Yun Luofeng retracted his gaze from Lin Ruobai's body. His evil eyes stared at Qin Shui. Where are my people? Qin Shui's face paled. These days, in order to force Yi Qi to betray Yun Luofeng, she had sent people to torture her. If Yun Luofeng were to see Yi Qi, who knew what methods he would use to torture her? Qin Shui, tell me, where's the girl you captured? The faces of several elders of the Sacred Maiden tribe sank, and they scolded sternly. Only now did the elders realize that they had misunderstood Yun Luofeng and had almost attacked the young patriarch's master. In the eyes of the few elders, this was insubordination. All of this was because Qin Shui trusted others too easily. If that girl was harmed in the Sacred Maiden tribe, the anger of the young patriarch and Miss Yun could be imagined. Qin Shui was silent as she kept thinking about countermeasures. She had indeed been torturing Yi Qi for the past few days, but it was not very serious. Perhaps Yun Luofeng would spare her life in the end. Just as she was thinking about how to free herself, the elders were already impatient and turned their eyes to the other disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe. "Where is the woman that Xianxia brought back?" Reporting an elder green shirt, a woman walked out slowly. This woman was the one who had gone to the prison to look for Su Jun and handed Yi Chi a piece of clothing. Chapter 1685. That lady is locked up in a cell, but she paused, not knowing if she should say those things. Yin Luofeng's heart skipped a beat. Did something happen to Yi Chi? Take me to the cell right now. Yi Chi was her parents' adopted daughter. If something really happened to her, everyone in the Yi family would mourn for her. That was something she did not want to see. The woman pondered for a while and finally said it. "Elder, after Lady Qin Shui brought Miss Yi back, she forced her to betray Miss Yin, who knew that Miss Yi would rather die than obey. So Lady Qin Shui used torture on her." Torture? Several elders frowned. They did not know if the torture was serious. If it was not serious, perhaps they could plead for mercy and spare Qin Shui's life. After all, they had watched Qin Shui grow up. How could they bear to kill her? At most, she would be kicked out of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Unfortunately, they didn't know that Yin Luofeng had always been someone who would pay back 100-fold for hurting her. Not to mention that Yi Chi was punished. Even if it was just a strand of hair, she wouldn't easily forgive Qin Shui. But the woman looked at the elder carefully. "When I want to find Su Jun was raping Miss Yi. At that time, Miss Yi was naked and her face was full of tears. But I don't know if Su Jun succeeded. When she thought of Su Jun's beastly behavior, she felt a little indignant. The people of the Sacred Maiden tribe could not bear to see a man tarnishing a woman's innocence. Even killing Yi Chi was better than forcibly taking her." Boom! Yin Luofeng's mind suddenly exploded. His anger spread out, and his entire person seemed to be filled with murderous intent. Su Jun actually tarnished Yi Chi? Good, very good. Anyone who was involved in this matter, she would not let go of a single person. Xiao Mo, you, and the others keep an eye on the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe. No one is allowed to leave, Yin Luofeng ordered. She then turned to the disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe coldly. "Take me to the cell." She did not forget what the disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe had said before. Qin Shui forced Yi Chi to betray her, but Yi Chi refused. She would rather endure torture and be tarnished than betray her. Therefore, at this moment, no matter how big the dispute between him and Yi Chi was, it all disappeared with this sentence. "Yes, Miss Yin," the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe said respectfully. In the cell, Yi Chi had put on the clothes that the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe had thrown to her. Her body was curled up in the corner, and her delicate body was trembling. Her face was full of tears. She bit her lips tightly and stared at the door without blinking. Creak! The door to the cell was pushed open. Sunlight shone into the cell and shone on the woman's tear-stained face. At the door, Bai Yi walked in slowly like a god descending from the sky. He appeared in Yi Chi's eyes. Yi Chi, who had been pretending to be strong these days, finally collapsed the moment she saw the woman. She forced herself to stand up, but she staggered a few times and finally fell to the ground. However, just as she was about to fall, a hand reached out from behind and gently held her body. Yi Chi wanted to say something, but before she could, Yin Luofeng stuffed a pill into her mouth. The fragrance of the medicine flowed into her mouth, making her body feel much more comfortable. "Thank you." Yi Chi bit her lip and looked up at the woman who was holding her. Chapter 1686. "Thank you for saving me." This time, her thanks were very sincere, and her tearful eyes were very serious. "You don't have to thank me." Yin Luofeng paused and continued. "You are a member of the Yi family. It is only right for me to save you. Besides, you didn't betray me, did you?" Yi Chi smiled. This smile was equivalent to throwing away the past grievances from the bottom of her heart. "I will remember your kindness. In the future, I will repay you." Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows. "In fact, if it weren't for me, the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe would not have caught you, but you still came to save me after all." Yi slowly left Yun Luofeng's embrace and looked at the sacred maiden tribe, disciple who brought Yun Luofeng. If you hadn't come in time, I might have been killed by Su Jun, she said very seriously. And you, who could have ignored it, handed me the clothes. So, I will remember this for the rest of my life. She was not a person who did not know how to repay kindness. If others helped her, she would never refuse if they needed her help in the future. The sacred maiden tribe disciple smiled slightly. You have already repaid the kindness. After all, she was Qin Shui's subordinate. She should be punished for making such a mistake. But Yi Qi's inadvertent words could save her life. Hearing this, Yi Qi's eyes were very confused. She did not understand what the sacred maiden tribe disciple meant. Yun Luofeng turned to the sacred maiden tribe disciple. Even though his face was as cold as ever, it no longer gave her a sense of oppression. Please take care of my sister. I still have some things to deal with. Sister, Yi Qi's body stiffened. Yun Luofeng had been the Yi family for 5 or 6 years, but this was the first time he had acknowledged her as his sister. And this form of address warmed Yi Qi's heart. Knowing that Su Jun did not succeed, Yun Luofeng's heart fell back into his stomach. However, he still had some debts to settle above the clouds in the clan gate. Su Jun had been beaten half to death, and the blood in his mouth did not stop. Little Mo could not help but wonder if this guy would die from vomiting blood. Su Jun, I didn't expect you to do such a thing. You dare to defile my master's sister? Lin Ruobai raised his eyebrows and exerted more force. She also heard the words of the disciple of the sacred maiden tribe clearly, and her heart was even angrier. If she didn't beat this bastard to death, she wouldn't be able to dispel the hatred in her heart. The people of the sacred maiden tribe looked at the girl standing on Su Jun's chest and couldn't help but shiver. They didn't expect that the young clan leader, who looked so innocent and cute, would be so ruthless. All the bones in Su Jun's body had been broken by her, but she still didn't give up. She wanted to beat him to death. At this moment, Yun Luofeng returned. Her silhouette landed in front of Qin Shui. Her evil black eyes were filled with a cold, murderous intent. How many people went to Wuhui continent? Who have been torturing Yi Qi recently? Tell them to step forward immediately. Qin Shui's heart skipped a beat. She gritted her teeth and said, Miss Yun, my subordinates and I are indeed at fault. However, this matter should be dealt with by the elders and young clan leader. Could it be that you want to overstep your authority? She understood that if she fell into Yun Luofeng's hands, her life would be worse than death. It was better to accept the punishment of the sacred maiden tribe. Yun Luofeng narrowed her eyes slightly, and a dangerous light flashed in her eyes as she laughed silently. You mean that I don't have the right to punish you? Qin Shui's eyes darkened a few times. I only listened to the young clan leader and a few elders. Chapter 1687. Lin Ruobai's face was red with anger as she glared at Qin Shui. She is my master. Her words are my words. You said that I am the young master of the sacred maiden tribe, so you must all listen to my master. Xiaobai. Yun Luofeng glanced at Lin Ruobai and stopped her. He then turned his gaze to Qin Shui. Now, I will not mention my relationship with Xiaobai. I am just avenging my sister. I have said before that if she loses 1 hair, I will kill 1 person. If she loses 2 hairs, I will kill 2 people until the entire sacred maiden tribe is killed. The elders looked embarrassed, but did not dare to say a word. They could only glare at Qin Shui fiercely. Qin Shui, if she wants to punish you, let her punish you. Who made the young master of the tribe become her disciple? Qin Shui was not convinced. Why should she kill one of the sacred maiden tribe, just because she loses 1 hair? Yes, I have wronged you, and I am willing to accept punishment. However, the sins of the sacred maiden tribe do not warrant death. At most, you will pay me back for how I treated her these days. What if I insist on killing the sacred maiden tribe? Yun Luofeng, you can't be reasonable. Reasonable? Yun Luofeng laughed. She was amused by Qin Shui. The sacred maiden tribe should have sent someone to investigate my background. I wonder if you have found out about my reputation in the mainland? Yun Luofeng raised his eyes and looked at Qin Shui. Well, have I ever been reasonable? Who can stop me from killing the person I want to kill? Wasn't that right? Ever since Yin Luofeng came to this world, he had been a spoiled brat. You want to reason with her? Sorry, she has never been a reasonable person. If you step on her, she will chop off your foot. If you hurt her, she will return it 100 times. Revenge for revenge? This had never happened to her before. If you don't tell me who went to the no-return continent to capture Yi Qi, then I will find other ways to make you talk. Yin Luofeng smiled evilly and approached Xianxia. Xianxia was horrified and quickly retreated. Yin Luofeng, don't do anything rash. This is the sacred maiden tribe. The few elders wanted to protect Xianxia's life, but they had only taken 2 steps forward when they heard Lin Ruobai's angry voice. If you 3 old fellows dare to intervene in this matter, even if I die, I will never step into the sacred maiden tribe again. The few elders were startled and subconsciously stopped in their tracks. Compared to Xianxia's life, Lin Ruobai's return was more important. Xianxia finally panicked. Why did she dare to treat Yin Luofeng so forcefully? She was certain that the 3 elders would protect her life. Who would have thought that one sentence from Lin Ruobai would cause them to fall silent? No, don't come over. I'll talk. Without the protection of the 3 elders, Xianxia's nerves collapsed and she hurriedly said. Although she would die if she said anything, she understood that if she didn't say anything, she would be better off dead than alive. Why did she have to suffer pain worse than death for those people? I said, I'll tell you everything. Please, don't torture me. Yin Luofeng's lips curled up into a smile. Compared to death, living worse than death was more terrifying. You immediately asked the people who went to the no-return continent to come forward, including the people who tortured Yi Qi these days. Yin Luofeng's gaze slowly turned to milk tea and the beasts. I want these people. Not a single one of them will be left alive. It was fine to say that she was cruel or heartless. She just wanted to protect her loved ones. For this, even if she was reviled by the world, she was fearless. What's more, she didn't think that her actions were wrong. She wanted the world to know that those who hurt her loved ones couldn't escape death. Chapter 1688. Xianxia's body slumped to the ground. Even the maidservant disciples who had participated in this matter had looks of despair. The elder in green's face was pale. He looked up at Yin Luofeng and asked, Miss Yin, these people are our maidservant disciples. I don't know. Can you give me some face and give them quick death? If the elder in green asked Yin Luofeng to let these people go, then Yin Luofeng would never do as he wished. But what he proposed was to give them a quick death. Yin Luofeng muttered to himself for a moment. I can give them a quick death, but it's not because of you. The elder in green's face stiffened and he sighed heavily. Indeed, they had wanted to kill Yin Luofeng. Why would you give him face? But Yin Luofeng looked up at the elder in green. I will give Xiao Bai's mother face and not let them suffer too much. In any case, the elder in green's goal had been achieved, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Master, Lin Ruobai had tortured them enough. She looked disdainfully at the half-dead Su Jun and turned to walk towards Yin Luofeng. Her arm was hooked around the woman in front of her, and her large eyes were full of grievance. You want to leave me here with the maidservant tribe? Yin Luofeng did not speak. Master, Lin Ruobai was anxious. Her whole body hung on Yin Luofeng, and tears of grievance almost fell down. I don't want anyone but you. I don't want to be with these people who want to bully you. Don't think of leaving me here. Even if she was shameless, she would stay by her master's side and never leave. The 3 elders did not speak. In their view, the maidservant tribe was so powerful that Yin Luofeng could not give up. She would definitely keep Lin Ruobai here. Unexpectedly, after Yin Luofeng heard Lin Ruobai's words, his heart softened. If you don't want to stay, then I can let you leave with me. The reason why she wanted Lin Ruobai to stay with the maidservant tribe was because this was her mother's home. However, she would not force Lin Ruobai to do anything. Lin Ruobai's face curved into a smile, and her eyes were full of light. In comparison, the expressions of the elders were not very good. Perhaps they had not expected that Yin Luofeng would allow Lin Ruobai to leave. It must be known that Yin Luofeng was Lin Ruobai's master, and Lin Ruobai obeyed her. If Lin Ruobai became the Sacred Maiden Tribe leader, wouldn't it be equivalent to the Sacred Maiden Tribe falling in her hands? How could she refuse such generous terms? Young clan leader, you can't leave. The cyan-robed elder's expression changed. He looked at Yin Luofeng with contempt, but his tone was very respectful. Miss Yin, please help me persuade the young matriarch. The Sacred Maiden Tribe cannot be without a leader for a day. She is the daughter of the matriarch, so she should be the leader of the Sacred Maiden Tribe. His words were already very clear. If Lin Ruobai stayed in the Sacred Maiden Tribe, the Sacred Maiden Tribe would be at Lin Ruobai's disposal. As for the small tree, his strength was indeed very strong, causing the three of them to feel a little afraid. But he was a treant. The people of the Sacred Maiden Tribe were born with the ability to control the tree men. The reason why the tree men obeyed Yin Luofeng's orders was probably because of the young patriarch. Therefore, they did not put Yin Luofeng in their eyes. It was just that this woman's luck was better. She was able to find the young matriarch among all the living beings on the mainland, and she even gained the trust of the young matriarch. Chapter 1689. Lin Ruobai curled her lips. She was no longer the person who had lost her memory. How could she not see the disdain these people had for Yin Luofeng? But when she was about to get angry, Yin Luofeng pulled her back. Yin Luofeng shook his head and looked up at the three elders. Why do you think that I will be willing to persuade Xiaobai to stay? The elder in green paused slightly. How could he say what he was thinking in front of the young matriarch? Do you think that I will covet the power of the Sacred Maiden Tribe? Yin Luofeng's lips curled up as his eyes swept across the crowd. If Xiaobai does not want to stay, I will not force her. If she is willing to stay with the Sacred Maiden Tribe, I will not stop her. Moreover, Xiaobai is my disciple. Even if she wants the entire 7 continents, I will take it down and give it to her. The woman's voice was arrogant and ostentatious, and it heavily smashed into the hearts of many people. Fire, take care of everyone involved in the kidnapping and bring Yi Qi to the Jun family. Yin Luofeng slowly turned around and took Lin Ruobai's little hand. Xiaobai, let's go. Okay. Lin Ruobai smiled brightly, revealing 2 canine teeth. She was innocent and cute. In this life, she was only willing to follow her master to battle on the battlefield, and this Sacred Maiden Tribe was not where she belonged. Wait. The 3 elders were anxious and wanted to stop Lin Ruobai, but at this moment, a cold and evil voice came with the wind. Xiao Shu, whoever dares to stop us from leaving will be killed without mercy. Hearing these words, the 3 elders stopped. If they fought to the death, they might be able to defeat Xiao Shu. Coupled with the Sacred Maiden Tribe's trump card, they could completely keep Lin Ruobai here. However, in this way, the Sacred Maiden Tribe would also suffer a great loss. Was it worth it? The young matriarch was still young. It would take more than a few years to cultivate. If the Sacred Maiden Tribe lost those trump cards, coupled with the 3 of them being injured, they would definitely be taken advantage of by strong enemies and would anger the young matriarch. This was obviously not a good deal. After the 3 elders calculated in their hearts, they no longer stopped Lin Ruobai from leaving. They could only watch as her figure disappeared. Little White, do you regret not choosing to stay with the Sacred Maiden Tribe? Above the mountain range, Yin Luofeng stopped and turned to look at the young girl beside him. Lin Ruobai shook his head. If I stay in the Sacred Maiden Tribe, I will at most be the tribe leader of the Sacred Maiden Tribe. Only by following Master can I explore the wider world. At this moment, Lin Ruobai had made a decision that she would never regret. Actually, if you had stayed, perhaps you would have been able to find traces of your mother. This was also the reason why Yin Luofeng had hesitated in the beginning. But in the end, she still chose to respect Lin Ruobai's decision. Lin Ruobai revealed a brilliant smile. Master, if it were you, would you join a faction that isn't free in order to find your parents? There were too many rules and regulations in the Sacred Maiden Tribe. Just the rule of not marrying was something that Lin Ruobai could not bear. Therefore, If Yin Luofeng were in Lin Ruobai's position, her choice would be no different. I believe that I can find my mother on my own. Lin Ruobai blinked. She looked at little Mo, who had followed her from the mountain, and her smile became even brighter. Besides, I will marry little Mo as my husband. Why should I stay with the sacred maiden tribe? Little Mo had just walked to Yin Luofeng's side when he heard Lin Ruobai's words. His handsome face turned red, and he glared at Lin Ruobai. Chapter 1690. You're the one who's marrying me, not the other way around. He was a man after all. Lin Ruobai kept saying that he wanted to marry me. Isn't this too embarrassing? Lin Ruobai glared at him and placed his hands on his hips. I don't care. On the day of our wedding, you'll put on a red veil, and I'll hold your hand as we consummate our marriage. Master, look at her. Xiao Mo turned towards Yin Luofeng with an aggrieved look and complained pitifully. Yin Luofeng shrugged his shoulders. This is your business. You could discuss it among yourselves. I won't make any comments. If you can't agree to it, you can have a fight on the bed. I'll listen to whoever wins. I'm a man. How could I hit a woman? Besides, why would we have to fight on the bed? Little Mo, who had a puzzled look on his face, suddenly reacted. His handsome face flushed red, and he felt as if steam was coming out his head. Master, you're so bad. However, by the time Xiao Mo had finished speaking, Yin Luofeng had already walked far away. He and Lin Ruobai hurriedly chased after him. The hidden divine mountain. A powerful energy could be felt faintly from the depths of the mountain range. Those with weaker powers would not even be able to lift their feet upon reaching the depths of the mountain. At this moment, in a palace in the hidden divine mountain, a beautiful woman dressed in a long black robe crouched down and carefully observed the handsome, unconscious man in front of her. This man was very handsome. His demonic features made him look like a god from the heavens. One look from him was enough to make a person sink into him. TSK. The woman caressed the man's face with her hand and murmured softly, I haven't seen a man with such looks in many years. If I can spend the rest of my life with him, I won't have any complaints. Speaking of which, she had picked up this man from the depths of the hidden divine mountain. That day, she had seen this man with severe injuries and was unconscious. Perhaps it was because he was lonely, or perhaps it was because he was too beautiful. She had picked him up and brought him back. That way, she would have someone to keep her company for the rest of her life. No, this man's background is unknown. If I want him to stay here forever, I can only use that method. The beautiful woman's eyes darted around, and her lips curled into an evil smile. She gently closed her eyes, and with a bang, a wave of spiritual energy shot into the man's mind. At this moment, the beautiful woman's face instantly turned pale, and large beads of sweat rolled down her face. At this moment, all of the man's memories flashed before the beautiful woman's eyes like flowing water. It turned out that this man was called Bai Su, and he wasn't from this continent. He had an enemy named Yun Xiao. Even though this Yun Xiao was equally handsome, and was even more handsome than Bai Su, that man was too cold and always had a poker face. Compared to him, she still preferred a man like Bai Su who was bewitching. Of course, it would be best if he could get both of them. Oh right, Bai Su still had an enemy named Yin Luofeng. However, as an enemy, she could feel Bai Su's hatred towards Yun Xiao, but she could not feel his anger towards Yun Luofeng. The beautiful woman was shocked and hurriedly withdrew her spiritual energy. However, as she withdrew her spiritual energy, she did not forget to leave an indelible mark in Bai Su's mind. This mark would allow Bai Su to treat himself as the woman who had left the deepest impression on him. Regardless of whether he loved this woman deeply or not, as long as she had left a deep impression on him, Bai Su would treat himself as that woman and fall deeply in love with her. Chapter 1691. All these years, every man who entered the depths of the Hidden God Mountain has had their memories altered by this method. Sadly, those men could not withstand her torture and died within a few years. However, facing this man who was as handsome as a god, she couldn't bring herself to harden her heart and hurt a single hair on his head. Perhaps she has fallen in love with this man. At this moment, Bai Su, who was lying on the bed, slowly opened his eyes. His face was very pale, and his breathing was weak. Uncontrollably, the beautiful woman's heart ached. "You're awake?" The beautiful woman looked at him worriedly. Her eyes were filled with anxiety. Bai Su froze and hesitantly looked at the beautiful woman standing in front of him. "Yun, Luo Feng?" The beautiful woman froze. As expected, the person who left the deepest impression in Bai Su's heart was Yun Luo Feng, the person he called his enemy. But, hearing this, the beautiful woman subconsciously sighed in relief. It seemed that her imprint had worked. Bai Su really did think that she was Yin Luo Feng. This was great. This man belonged to her from now on. "That's right. I am Yin Luo Feng," the beautiful woman said shamelessly, "and the woman you love the most. Don't you hate me? Why did you save me?" Back then, when he first met Yin Luo Feng, he wanted to take her in, but there was some friction. Plus, every time they met, this woman never gave him a good look. The beautiful woman's eyes flickered. She smiled and said, "Actually, I don't hate you. On the contrary, I love you very much. But I know that it's impossible between us. That's why I used that method to attract your attention. If this was the Bai Su of the past, he definitely would not be so brainless." However, because of the brand that was engraved in his mind, he could not help but believe the beautiful woman's words without a doubt. Also, the beautiful woman paused and continued, "In the future, don't call me Yin Luo Feng. Just call me Luo Air." Her original name also had the character Luo. Even though she tried to make Bai Su think that she was Yin Luo Feng, it did not mean that she was willing to hear someone else's name from the mouth of the man she loved. "Okay." Bai Su smiled, charming and charming, once again causing Luo Er's heart to skip a beat. "Brother Su, rest well. Once you are healed, I will not reject you no matter what you want." Luo Er lowered her head and said shyly. Bai Su felt like he had been struck by lightning. He had not expected Luo Er to say something so direct. The desire in his heart was aroused. However, due to his injuries, he could only suppress the fire in his heart. Luo Er looked at him shyly again, then turned and walked out the door. The moment she stepped out of the door, her lips curled into a smile and her eyes narrowed. "Any man that I fancy will never be able to escape from my hands," because she didn't need to seduce those men. She just needed them to treat her as their beloved woman. The Black Palace was dark and oppressive. Outside Bai Su's palace, a sneaky figure quietly walked in. Her beautiful face was filled with nervousness. Aside from Luo Er and Bai Su, there was no one else in the palace. Unfortunately, Luo Er had been staying next to Bai Su for the past few days, so it was not convenient for her to enter. She could only sneak in when Luo Er was out. Xianxia raised her hand and gently pushed the door open. Once she entered, she saw Bai Su, who was resting on the bed. Bai Su thought that it was Luo Er and looked over lazily. When he saw the beautiful handmaiden who had entered the room, his handsome face sank. Chapter 1692. "Xianxia, why are you here?" Xianxu's body stiffened. Ever since Bai Su was seriously injured and she offered her body to heal him, Bai Su chased her away. But how could she be at ease with her master? That was why she had been secretly following behind him without him noticing. "Master, I'm here to save you." "Save me?" Bai Su sneered. "Luo Er and I are here to protect each other. Why do I need you to save me?" Xianxia panicked. "Master, that woman isn't Yin Luo Feng. You've been tricked by her." Bai Su's face darkened. "Do you think I can't tell if she's Luo Er or not?" "Xianxia, I know you've always wanted to be my concubine. Unfortunately, you didn't get what you wanted. That's why you framed Luo. If you don't leave now, don't blame me for being rude." "Master, you've changed." Xianxia bit her lips and said, "But I won't leave." The imprint that Luo Er left in Bai Su's mind not only changed his memory, but also changed Bai Su's personality. In the past, even if Bai Su chased Xianxia away, he would never say such self-righteous words. Bang! Suddenly, the door was pushed open by a hand. Luo Er appeared at the door with a gloomy face. "Bai Su, so you had another woman behind my back." Bai Su panicked and hurriedly climbed up from the bed. He held Luo Er's hand nervously. "Luo Er, listen to me. I have nothing to do with her. You must believe me." Luo Er clenched her fist tightly. From Bai Su's memory, She already knew that Jinyu took advantage of Luo'er's perilous state and had intimate contact with her. That scene replayed before her eyes like a camera. It was also like a needle that ruthlessly stabbed into her heart. Bai Su, you still want to lie to me? Luo'er's tears fell like rain. Just now, this woman found me and said that she was your wife. You had intimate contact with her a long time ago. She wanted me to leave you, but I didn't agree. Then, she framed me in front of you. She claimed that I'm not Yin Luo Feng. Of course, she could not tell Bai Su that she learned all of this from his memory. Therefore, she used this matter to frame Jinyu. Master, I didn't. Jinyu shook her head. This servant has followed Master for many years and has always listened to Master's orders. How could I do such a thing? It's her, she framed me. Pa! Bai Su raised her hand and slapped Jinyu. Jinyu was stunned. She covered her red cheeks with her hands and looked up at Bai Su with disbelief in her eyes. Master didn't believe him? Luo'er glanced at Jinyu proudly and slowly walked to Bai Su. She hooked her arms around his neck and sent her fragrant lips to him. Bai Su didn't resist. Instead, she responded enthusiastically. Jinyu's heart suddenly twitched, and her beautiful eyes were filled with deep pain. She had already prepared herself that sooner or later, her master would have to spend the rest of his life with another woman. However, when she saw this scene, she still felt the pain in her bones. Luo'er, I did have intimate contact with her, but that was when I wasn't conscious. Now that I have you, I won't touch any other woman. Brother Su, I believe you. Moreover, this girl loves you too much. That's why she said such things in front of me. However, I've always been kind. I can't bear to punish her for this. Why don't you let her go? Luo'er left Bai Su's embrace. She curled her lips and said sweetly. Bai Su hesitated for a moment and nodded slightly. Okay, to tell the truth, he was extremely unwilling to kill Jinyu. Chapter 1693. After all these years, no matter how much danger he had encountered, Jinyu had always been by his side. Now that Luo'er had personally asked, why wouldn't he be willing? Brother Su, let me send her out in case she hides in some corner of the palace and stares at you. Luo'er raised the corner of her lips and smiled sinisterly. I'll listen to you. Bai Su smiled and rubbed her hair, his evil eyes filled with gentleness. Hearing this, Luo'er turned and walked to Jinyu, glanced at her, and said, follow me. Jinyu froze and looked up at Bai Su. When she saw the disgust in the man's eyes, her heart twitched. She looked at Bai Su sadly and turned to follow Luo'er out. In the silent palace, Luo'er stopped. Her expression changed from the gentleness she had when she faced Bai Su to an icy, cold expression. Bai Su has an enemy named Xianxia. Jinyu bit her lips. That's right. Help me lure that man over. Luo'er raised her chin slightly. I'm interested in that man. Jinyu's expression changed. What do you want? Isn't it enough that you have a master? Luo'er sneered. She licked her long red nails, extremely charming. I'm too bored in this palace. I need a few men to accompany me. If it wasn't for the fact that she couldn't leave Hidden God Mountain, she wouldn't need to use this method to relieve her boredom. Will Master allow you to do this? Hee, Luo'er laughed coldly. Your master loves me to death. Even if he feels pain because I have physical contact with another man, he won't leave me. Jinyu clenched her fists tightly, the anger in her heart surging out. Bitch! She gritted her teeth and spat out these two words. Luo'er's eyes turned cold. With a boom, a force hit Jinyu's chest and sent her flying. Jinyu spat out a mouthful of blood and stared at Luo'er with fire in her eyes. If you help me with this, I'll allow you to stay in the palace as a maid. Otherwise, not only will I chase you out, I'll even torture Bai Su. Think carefully. Hearing this, Jinyu sneered and stood up from the ground. The relationship between the Ghost Emperor and Yin Luo Feng is very deep. I'm afraid it's impossible for you to interfere. Luo'er scoffed at this. You probably know how I made your master fall in love with me. Towards that Yin Xiao, I just need to use the same method. As long as he treats me as Yin Luo Feng, how could he not love me to death? Luo'er slowly walked towards Jinyu. Also, help me kill Yin Luo Feng. In this world, one Yin Luo Feng is enough. Actually, Luo had not mentioned that there was a flaw in the mark she had placed on Bai Su. That flaw was that he couldn't let him see the true Yin Luofeng. Otherwise, the imprint would be damaged, and he would recall everything. Therefore, Yin Luofeng absolutely could not be left alive. Jin Yu was silent. She could leave Bai Su, but it didn't mean that she could watch this woman humiliate Bai Su. Moreover, she believed that Luo would definitely do this to achieve her goal. If it was his former master, if Luo dared to hurt him, he would return her 10 times. Unfortunately, he was no longer the master he used to be. Perhaps, even if Luo killed him, he wouldn't have any complaints. If I help you, will you let master go? Jin bit her lip and asked. Chapter 1694. Luo's lips curled into a smile. That smile was determined to win. I never break my promise. I always do what I say. All right, I'll be back in half a month. I only hope that you can treat master well during this time. Jin Yu clenched her fists, took a deep breath, and said, her life had been saved by her master, so she was destined to live for him in this life. After saying this, Jin Yu looked at Luo one last time before turning to leave the palace. That beautiful yet frail figure gradually disappeared from Luo's eyes. Jun family. Yi Qi's eyes were wide open as she looked around curiously. Yin Luo. She wanted to call Yin Luofeng's name, but she felt that it would be impolite. She swallowed her words and asked, second sister-in-law, why did you bring me here? Yin Luofeng walked in slowly and said softly, to bring you to see someone. Sister Yin. Just as Yin Luofeng stepped into the Jun family's residence, a smiling figure quickly rushed over and crashed into Yin Luofeng's arms. Sister Yin, you're finally back. I missed you so much. Jun Linger raised her palm-sized face, her watery eyes filled with a charming smile. To be honest, Yin Luofeng had a good impression of Jun Ling from the first time he saw her. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stood up for her when Xiao Yueqin humiliated Jun Ling our grandpa and Yin Xiao back. Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows and gently rubbed Jun Ling's head. His lips curled into a smile. Jun Ling shook her head. Grandpa and brother Yin Xiao are not back yet. Not back yet? Yin Luofeng frowned. Could it be that something happened to him? Jun Ling's entire body hung on Yin Luofeng, hooking her arm. Her cute eyes shone with a cunning light. Sister Yin, if you want to find them, can you bring me along? Recently, Grandpa was not by her side. She was locked in the Jun family by her father and was not allowed to step out. She was bored to death. That was why she begged Yin Luofeng to bring her along to find Grandpa. Lin Ruobai watched as Jun Ling hugged Yin Luofeng's arm and acted like a spoiled child. She snorted lightly and walked forward. She purposely grabbed Yin Luofeng's other arm and stared at Jun Linger with wide eyes. Jun Linger did not notice Lin Ruobai. Her watery eyes were fixed on Yin Luofeng the whole time. Sister Yin, I came back to the Jun family this time because I want to keep her here. Yin Luofeng pointed to Yi Qi behind him and said, I'll send her back to the Wuhui continent the next time I come back. Wuhui continent? Jun Linger's heart skipped a beat. Her spirited eyes finally shifted from Yin Luofeng's face to Yi Qi, and she widened her eyes in curiosity. Sister Yin, this lady her name is Yi Qi. Yin Luofeng's lips curled up. She's my mother's adopted daughter. The adopted daughter of Sister Yun's mother? In other words, Jun Linger's eyes immediately lit up. She giggled and grabbed Yi Qi's hand. A bright smile appeared on her adorable face. Big Sister Yi Qi, welcome home. Home? Yi Qi was stunned. She looked at Yin Luofeng in astonishment. She clearly did not understand what he meant. Without waiting for Yin Luofeng and Yi Qi to react, the head of the Jun family, Jun Xian, quickly walked out of the house. When he saw Yin Luofeng, his eyes immediately lit up and he hurried forward. Feng, you're back. Chapter 1695. Yin Luofeng nodded. Yin Xiao is not here yet. I plan to go to the Hidden God Mountain myself. If there had not been an accident, with Yin Xiao's strength, she would not have returned so late. Jun Xian hesitated. If something happened to Master and Yin Xiao, he did not want Yin Luofeng to suffer the same fate. However, Jun Xian also understood that even if he stopped him, Yin Luofeng would still rush in with passion. All right, then go. After pondering for a while, Jun Xian agreed to Yin Luofeng's words. Father, Jun Ling pouted pitifully. I want to go with Sister Yin. Hearing this, Jun Xian glared at Jun Ling. With your strength, don't drag your sister down. Stay at home and improve your strength. Jun Ling felt wronged. She almost burst into tears. She suddenly missed the days when she traveled the continent with her grandfather. Uncle, I'm handing Yi Qi over to you. I hope the Jun family will take good care of her. Jun Xian was grandfather Jun's disciple, but he was more like his own son. So, it was not wrong for Yin Luofeng to call him uncle. This lady's surname is Yi. Jun Xian's eyes widened in surprise as he looked at Yi Qi curiously. Yi Qi's body stiffened when he looked at her, and she felt very uncomfortable. Sister-in-law, I want to go with you, no need. Yin Luofeng shook his head. The Jun family is also your home. They will take care of you if you stay here. Jun Xian, who had been puzzled at first, immediately understood after hearing Yin Luofeng's words. He laughed heartily. So this is my little sister's adopted daughter. Since she has come to our Jun family, we will certainly take good care of her. You can rest assured. Yin Luofeng had said before that Jun Fengling had adopted a son and a daughter, and they had a pair of twins. The twins were only about 5 years old. The woman in front of him must be his sister's adopted daughter. Yi Qi was even more confused. She looked at Yin Luofeng in surprise. I forgot to explain to you. Yin Luofeng noticed the doubt in Yi Qi's eyes and said slowly, Mother is not from the Wuhui continent, but from the 7 continents continent. The old master of the Jun family is your father, and the master of the Jun family is his disciple. Yi Qi was stunned. She could not believe her ears. Her heart was full of excitement, and tears welled up in her eyes. So my adoptive mother also has a maiden family, and I also have a grandfather. That was great. She quickly covered her mouth to prevent herself from crying out loud. Sister Yi Qi, don't feel bad. Jun Ling took out a handkerchief and handed it to Yi Qi. From now on, you're a member of the Jun family. If anyone bullies you, I'll help you beat them up. Yi Qi's shoulders shook slightly. I'm not upset. I'm just happy. My adoptive mother has suffered too much all these years. Her adoptive father passed away very early, and he didn't leave her anything. She was even tricked by the bastards of the Xiao family. After giving birth to my brother, she was humiliated and tortured because my brother was a good-for-nothing. She almost lost her life in the forest of no return. If my adoptive father hadn't saved her, maybe my adoptive mother would no longer be in this world. I thought that the hardships would be over, but who knew that my adoptive mother could not bear children, and the Yi family could not tolerate it. If Yin Luofeng had not appeared, Jun Fengling would not have been able to return to the Yi family. Yi Qi's heart ached when she thought of the harm her adoptive mother had suffered all these years. Chapter 1696. But she didn't expect that her adoptive mother also had a family. Moreover, her family was on the 7 continents. From now on, who would dare to look down on her? Jun Xian was also very upset. He didn't expect his sister to suffer so much. What about the Xiao family? Where is the Xiao family that hurt my sister? Yin Luofeng smiled. Yin Xiao destroyed them a long time ago. Good job. Jun Xian's voice was full of vigor. Even if the Xiao family was destroyed, he still had the urge to drag them out of hell and beat them up. Yi Qi, the Jun family is my mother's family. You're safer here than with me. Little Mo was a Holy Spirit practitioner. Since Lin Ruobai woke up, his strength had also skyrocketed. He had no problem protecting himself in the hidden divine mountain. But Yi Qi was different. She was too weak, so weak that any spirit beast in the hidden divine mountain could destroy her. So why would she take Yi Qi into danger? Yi Qi was startled. She wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Then be careful on the road. She couldn't say anything more. However, it was clear that he was concerned for her. Yin Luofeng smiled and slowly turned around. Xiao and Mo Xiaobai, let's go. After saying this, she didn't look back and walked out. Yin Luofeng had just walked out of the Jun family when a figure came from behind. She couldn't help but stop. She turned around slightly, and her eyes fell on the beautiful maid behind her. This maid was very beautiful, so beautiful that it's seductive. But Yin Luofeng was sure that she didn't know her. "You called me?" Yin Luofeng pointed at herself and asked. "Yes, I'm looking for you." Jin Yu raised her head. Perhaps because she was in a hurry, her hair was a bit messy, but it couldn't hide her stunning beauty. "Do we know each other?" Yin Luofeng frowned and continued to ask. "You don't know me, but you should know. Bai Su." Lin Ruobai and Little Mo immediately went on high alert when they heard Bai Su's name. They surrounded Yin Luofeng from both sides. "Who the hell are you?" Little Mo's voice was very impolite. "What business do you have with my master?" Jin Yu pursed her red lips. Suddenly, she knelt in front of Yin Luofeng, her voice filled with pleading. "Miss Yin, I'm Bai Su's servant girl. I beg you, please help me and help my master." Yes, this was the final decision made by Jin Yu. She didn't believe Luo. Even if she helped her kill Yin Luofeng and brought Yun Xiao to the palace, she would still treat her mistress well for life. That was why she had chosen to place her hopes on Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng's expression darkened. "Bai Su has tried to kill me time and time again. Why should I help him?" "Miss Yin, I know that only you can help master." Jin Yu looked at Yin Luofeng with pleading eyes. "Besides, don't you want to know Yun Xiao's whereabouts?" Yun Xiao? These two words were like a heavy hammer that ruthlessly smashed into Yun Luofeng's heart, causing his killing intent to manifest. "Are you threatening me?" She gently narrowed her eyes, and a dangerous light flashed across her eyes. Jin Yu panicked and hurriedly explained. "Miss Yun, you've misunderstood. Some time ago, my master and the Ghost Emperor met at the Hidden God Mountain. The two of them fought, and both of them were injured. My master was picked up by the master of the Hidden God Mountain. However, the master of the Hidden God Mountain cultivates a special technique that can change other people's memories. She used this method to make master mistake her for you, Miss Yin." Chapter 1697. Yin Luofeng's evil eyes glanced at Jin Yu as he spoke indifferently. "Why did you make Bai Su mistake her for me?" Jin Yu lowered her head. Master had always wanted to possess Yin Luofeng. He said that Yin Luofeng was talented and could be used by him. However, as someone who understood Master the most, how could she not know that Yin Luofeng was special in Master's heart? "Master, she wants to possess Miss Yin." "Miss Yin, you know this as well. That's why the master of the Hidden God Mountain made Master mistake her for you. However, she tampered with Master's memory and made Master think that he was deeply in love with Miss Yin." Yin Luofeng raised an eyebrow. "What does that have to do with me? It's best if he stays in the Hidden God Mountain for the rest of his life." Anxiety flashed across Jin Yu's eyes. She did not think that Yin Luofeng did not care about someone pretending to be her. "Miss Yin, you can't just sit back and do nothing. The master of the Hidden God Mountain learned of the Ghost Emperor's existence from my master's memory and is interested in the Ghost Emperor. She wants to use the same method to possess the Ghost Emperor." She was not lying. Luower's other request was indeed for her to lure the Ghost Emperor to the depths of the Hidden God Mountain. Boom! A monstrous anger surged from Yun Luofeng's body. Her black eyes were filled with murderous intent, and her gaze was cold. "You're not lying to me?" Jin Yu shook her head. "Miss Yun, I swear that I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm willing to enter the 18 levels of hell and never be reincarnated." "I hope so." Yin Luofeng sneered. "I'm going to the Hidden God Mountain. Do you mind going with me?" Jin Yu raised her head to meet Yin Luofeng's cold black eyes. She shivered. She should not have agreed to go with Yin Luofeng. Otherwise, if Luower found out, she would definitely hurt Master. But she also understood that if she did not agree, Yin Luofeng would not help her. "All right, I'll go with you to the Hidden God Mountain." Jin Yu bit her lip. Her beautiful face was filled with determination. For Master, she was willing to risk her life. "Master," Lin Ruobai pursed his lips and turned to look at Yin Luofeng. "Do you really believe this woman? Believe her?" Yin Luofeng sneered. How could she trust the people around Bai Su? However, she was indeed heading to the Hidden God Mountain to look for Yun Xiao, so there was no harm in bringing her along. If she could not find Yun Xiao, then she would go to the place where the master of the hidden god mountain was. I'd rather believe her than not. Besides, if she's lying to me, I'll crush her into pieces. Hidden God Mountain. The old man sat in the shade of a tree with a bonfire in front of him. He held a fork in his hand and placed a fire eagle leg on the bonfire to roast. Not long after, a fragrant aroma wafted through the air. On the ground not far from the bonfire, a man in a black robe gently closed his eyes. The sun shone through the treetops and landed on the man's handsome face. He was so handsome that it made people forget to breathe. Suddenly, the man's brows moved slightly, and he slowly opened his eyes under the old man's gaze. The blood on his chest had long since dried up and turned brown. His black eyes were as cold as an eagle's, and his face was expressionless. "You're awake?" The old man chuckled. "I didn't think that after this old man had fallen into this trap, I would actually meet a human who had fallen into the same trap. I wonder if the mainland has been shaken after my disappearance for so many days. Unfortunately, I've been here for so long, and I still haven't found the person I'm looking for." "Right, young man, what's your name?" Chapter 1698. Yin Zhao's expression was grim. After his black eyes shifted from the elderly man, he sized up their current surroundings. "You don't have to look anymore. We're at the bottom of a well. However, when I fell into this well, I didn't expect that there would be a whole new world here." The elderly man grinned as he handed the roasted eagle in his hand to Yin Zhao. "However, there's no other way for you to leave this place. I've been here for a few months." Yin Zhao glanced at the roasted eagle leg that the elderly man had handed over and remained unmoved. His eyes carried a coldness that kept people at arm's length, and his handsome face was still expressionless. Perhaps it was because he had not seen anyone for a long time, but when the elderly man saw Yin Zhao's unfeeling behavior, he was not enraged. He kept the roasted eagle and took a bite. His brows unconsciously furrowed. "There's no seasoning at the bottom of this well. It makes my food taste tasteless." At their realm, they could treat the spiritual energy of heaven and earth as food and did not need to consume food. However, to the elderly man, not eating for a day would make him feel uncomfortable all over. Yin Zhao's gaze finally fell on the fire eagle leg in the elderly man's hand. He asked grimly, "Where did the fire eagle come from?" "TSK, of course I fought it down." The elderly man laughed. "Wasn't this obvious?" Yin Zhao fell silent. He raised his head and stared at the misty sky above his head. The originally azure sky was now shrouded by a layer of gray fog. It was gloomy and gloomy, as if there was a powerful existence in the sky guarding this dried-up well. "Master!" A small head popped out from behind Yin Zhao. It shook its plump body and slowly climbed down. The elderly man saw this little worm that was even more beautiful than a crystal at first glance, and a look of astonishment flashed across his eyes. He did not know if it was his illusion, but he felt that this little worm's abilities were not simple. "A way to leave." Yin Zhao lowered his gaze to look at the little worm. His low voice was magnetic. Luckily, little worm was not a female dragon. Otherwise, its ears would be pregnant. "Master, you can enter the bottom of this well, but you can't leave. The one guarding the bottom of this well is a relatively powerful spiritual beast, and any human that falls into this well will become its food." The little worm had lived in the Hidden God Mountain for so many years after all, so it was very familiar with the Hidden God Mountain. "It hasn't eaten you guys yet because it's not hungry yet. If it were hungry, I'm afraid." Yin Zhao and the elderly man already knew what little worm was going to say without needing it to continue. Yin Zhao's expression did not change. "Lead the way. Lead the way." The old man looked at Yin Zhao strangely, not understanding what he meant. However, Yin Zhao's personality was rather cold and callous. Even his words were short and concise. If he could omit a word, he definitely wouldn't say a word more. Little worm chuckled. "You found out." "That's right. When I came to the Hidden God Mountain, I also accidentally fell into this trap and saw the spiritual beast guarding the well. To be honest, even when I was at my peak, I was no match for this spiritual beast. After being locked up for so many years, Little Worm's strength had dropped significantly. But how powerful was it when it was at its peak? But even then, it was no match for this spiritual beast. From this, it could be seen how powerful this spiritual beast was. When the elderly man heard this, his eyes immediately lit up. Since this little worm had once mistakenly fallen into this trap and was still alive and well, did this prove that it had a way to leave? The elderly man was not wrong. Little worm indeed had a way to leave, but that way. Chapter 1699. Master, follow me later. I'll lead the way for you. If you go the wrong way, you'll be sent to another place. Little worm's voice was serious. It had experienced this and naturally knew how dangerous this path was. If it was not careful, it would be sent to another unknown world. Let's go. Yin expression was grim as he ordered in a cold voice. Little worm twisted its plump body, turned around, and swam forward. The elderly man hurriedly threw down the fire eagle leg in his hand and hurriedly followed behind Xianxia. Young man, I haven't asked for your name. That's right, my surname is June. You. Before the elderly man could finish his sentence, a cloud of fog shrouded them in front of them, instantly obscuring his vision. However, in this hazy white fog, Little Worm's figure was exceptionally clear, like a lamp illuminating the darkness, leading them forward. However, compared to Little Worm's composure, Xianxia and the elderly man were not as calm. Before them, familiar faces appeared one by one. Those faces were leading them to another path. Xianxia gently closed his eyes, forcing the images to disappear from his sight. However, when he opened his eyes again, the images were still there. It's not an illusion? In the beginning, he had thought that this was just an illusion. If he blocked his senses, the illusion would disappear. But he did it anyway. Those images still affected his path forward. It was as if these were all real people. Suddenly, Xiao's gaze fixed onto a young and tender face, and she was unable to move her gaze away. It was a little girl about 8 years old. Her features were somewhat similar to Yin Luofeng, but she was wearing clothes that did not belong to this mainland. Recalling that Yin Luofeng was not from this mainland, and what Little Worm had said earlier, Xiao's heart skipped a beat. It was as if a hand was pulling him towards the little girl. Xiaofeng, you know that it's not that Uncle doesn't want to raise you, but I really don't have the heart. However, Uncle has already found a good place for you to go. In that orphanage, you'll have many companions. In the luxurious living room of the villa, the man in a suit had a sorrowful expression, looking helpless. Standing in front of him was a little girl who looked like she was carved out of jade. Her delicate little face was full of tears, and she looked very helpless. At this moment, Xianxia was standing quietly by the little girl's side. His eyes were fixed upon her tear-stained little face. His heart ached fiercely, and he stretched out his hand to stroke her head. However, his hand passed through the little girl's body as if he was just an uninvited guest in this world. Xianxia was stunned, and he stared blankly at his own hand. After a long while, he once again looked at the little girl beside him. Uncle, Auntie, the little girl pleaded. I don't want to go to the orphanage. Please don't send me away. Hearing this, the beautiful woman who was painting her nails frowned impatiently. She looked at the little girl coldly and said, Our Yin family doesn't raise idlers, and it's even more impossible for us to provide for you. Your uncle is willing to send you to the orphanage. Otherwise, I will ask your uncle to sell you immediately. The beautiful woman had thought that these words would definitely scare the little girl, who knew that these words would completely enrage the little girl. After my parents passed away, they left me a large sum of money. When you inherited the money, you promised to raise me. How long has it been? You're just going to kick me away? Are you not afraid of public opinion? Chapter 1700. The beautiful woman sneered. Haven't you heard of the saying, money makes the world go round? However, this is also thanks to your parents. They left us a large sum of money, giving us the opportunity to make the world go round. Don't worry. After we send you to the orphanage, I will find someone to write a report saying that you're unreasonable, and even hit your cousin. If we didn't come back in time, your cousin would have died in your hands. As for that money, I will say that it has been donated to society. As for whether it was really donated, who knows? The little girl's shoulders shook incessantly, not knowing whether it was because she was angry or sad. All right, The beautiful woman's eyes moved a few times, slightly curling the corner of her lips. Let me tell you something. Do you know how Mother miscarried when she was pregnant with her second child? It was because of me and your uncle. Otherwise, if she had a son, their inheritance would not belong to us in the future. However, I never thought that they would die so early. Haha, it's really good that they died. The little girl's eyes widened. Her eyes were blood red. Suddenly, she fiercely rushed towards the beautiful woman, opened her small mouth, and bit the beautiful woman's arm. Ah! The beautiful woman felt the pain, casually pushed the little girl away. Her head hit the corner of the table, blood flowed down. But she did not cry anymore. A pair of eyes full of hatred stared at the beautiful woman. Enough! The man slammed the table and said in a stern voice, "No matter what, our Yin family has raised you for a few years. Is this how you treat your aunt? Moreover, your father is my older brother. What's wrong with me inheriting his inheritance? If you want to blame someone, blame your father. He doesn't have a son, yet he refuses to give all his money to his nephew. He insists that all his things belong to his daughter. What's the use of giving the company and money to my daughter? In the end, it will still be given to an outsider. It's better to give it to my nephew than to an outsider. At least my nephew is family." The man coldly looked at the little girl's eyes filled with anger and hatred. He sneered disdainfully. He did not think that he was wrong. A daughter's child has to follow someone else's surname. On the contrary, his son is different. He is a true family member. He had never heard of giving money to outsiders instead of their own people. The little girl bit her lower lip tightly. Blood flowed into her mouth, but she was completely unaware. Her resentful eyes were like daggers as she stared at the adulterous couple. The murderous intent on Yun Zhao's body could no longer be concealed as it surged out. He clenched his fists tightly as his grim eyes filled with murderous intent. However, no matter how angry he was, the two of them were in different space-time. Even the time was different. So what if he was angry? No wonder. So it turned out that she was so decisive and sentimental because of what had happened in the past. Just as Yun Zhao's heart was throbbing in pain, the scene in front of her changed. It turned into a street where countless people were pointing at the little girl. Did you guys see yesterday's report? It's this little girl named Yun Luofeng. She actually wanted to murder her cousin because she was jealous of her aunt and uncle's love for him. TSK, TSK. She's so vicious and merciless at such a young age. When she grows up, she'll definitely become a murderer. This kind of person should be thrown in jail. She shouldn't be let off just because she's young. I also heard that after her aunt and uncle inherited her parents' assets, they set up a separate account and put all the money in her name. They plan to give it to her when she's of age. Unfortunately, they didn't think that she would be so vicious. In a fit of anger, her aunt and uncle donated all the money. Serves her right. That money shouldn't have been given to her. Besides, there's an orphanage that's willing to take in someone like her. Aren't they afraid that she'll set fire to the orphanage? Chapter 17:01. Under the scornful and mocking gazes of those people, the little girl stood quietly in the middle of the street. Her pale little face looked exceptionally helpless, and her tiny figure made one's heart ache for her. Yun Zhao's heart was in so much pain that he could not extricate himself. He quickly walked towards the little girl. Even if she could not see him, he wanted to be by her side. That was good enough. "Master, come back quickly." Just at this moment, an angry voice rang out in Yun Zhao's mind. In that instant, the image in front of him suddenly shattered and turned pitch black. By the time he regained his senses, he saw the little worm glaring at him with a face full of rage. "Didn't I say that you can't wander around? If I hadn't sensed it in time, you would have been left in that place forever." Yun Zhao's expression gradually returned to normal. He thought for a moment and said, "Illusory reality?" Illusory reality could sense the most primitive thoughts in one's heart. And he, ever since Yun Luofeng told him that he did not belong to this world and described his past to him, he had always wanted to understand his past. That was why he had returned to Yun Luofeng's past. But this illusory reality was also very dangerous. Most people who entered it would be left in this illusion and never be able to come out. like a wisp of a ghost, living in that world. Master, what did you see just now? Little Worm looked at Yun Xiao in confusion. He had also sensed Yun Xiao's murderous intent and realized that he had fallen into an illusory reality. He wondered what his master had seen to make him so angry. If there's a place that does not belong to this time and space, can I go to that place? Those people had hurt his Fenger so much. How could he let them off? Should be possible. Little Worm thought for a moment and said, as long as this time and space really exist, there should be a way to go there. As for what the way is, I don't know. What if I want to go back to someone's past? The future cannot be changed. So you can go to that time and space, but not the past. In other words, he could find a way to Wuxia in the future, but he could not go back to Yun Luofeng's past. Indeed, if he changed the past, he might not be able to meet Yin Luofeng. It doesn't matter if I can't go back to the past. I just need to kill those people, and that's enough. Yin Xiao smiled. This was the first time Yin Xiao had smiled since Yin Luofeng was no longer by his side. But, on the other hand, the little worm felt a cold, murderous aura, causing its plump body to shiver uncontrollably. He didn't know who had offended his master, but it seemed like he was finished. Young man, wait for this old man. The old man then walked out. He chuckled and said, little guy, thank you for helping me just now. When Little Worm sensed that Yun Xiao had fallen into the illusory reality, he also noticed the elderly man. Of course, it was not so gentle towards this old man. It directly slapped him awake. Thinking of this, Little Worm could not help but twitch its mouth. It really did not know why these humans were so easily trapped in illusions. Could it be that humans had too many emotions and desires? In reality, ever since Yun Xiao had seen the smaller Yun Luofeng appear, he had already sensed it in his heart. However, in order to understand Yun Luofeng's past, he was willing to risk his life to find out what had happened to her in the past. Now that he knew about it, he felt even worse. It was as if he had been stabbed by a knife, and it was extremely painful. Chapter 1702. Who has the audacity to barge into the depths of Mount Hidden God? Just at this moment, a cold snort suddenly rang out, instantly falling into everyone's ears. Then, a woman dressed in a long black dress descended from the sky. Her expression was icy, and the aura from her body was extremely murderous. When the woman turned her gaze towards the people in front of her, her expression suddenly froze. Her beautiful eyes stared at Yun Xiao, and her face was filled with joy. It's you? That girl, Jin Yu, has indeed kept her word and lured you here. Yun Xiao frowned slightly. He did not have a good impression of the woman in front of him. Tisk, Little Worm snickered. Master, where did you get this rotten peach blossom from? Be careful, mistress might get angry. Yun Xiao's expression turned colder. I've never seen her before. You don't know me now, but you will in a while. The woman bowed her head and smiled charmingly. My name is Qin Luo. You can call me Luo. Also, very soon, I will be your wife. As soon as she said this, a murderous aura rose from Yun Xiao's body, and a murderous intent flashed in her cold and emotionless eyes. Qin Luo licked the corner of his lips, and a determined look flashed across his slightly narrowed eyes. These few days, she and Bai Su had been making love in bed. Don't be fooled by Bai Su's demonic charm, and she liked him very much. In reality, she was not satisfied with his abilities in bed. What she wanted was to stay in bed day and night. Who knew that Bai Su could only do it 5 times a night? Only 5 times. How could she be satisfied? So, she turned her gaze towards the extremely handsome Yun Xiao, who had an excellent figure. If it was this man, perhaps he would be able to make her hover between life and death in bed. In reality, it was not that Bai Su was not powerful, but Qin Luo had been empty for many years. How could one Bai Su alone be enough to satisfy her? No matter how powerful a man was, he would not be able to withstand her torment day and night. Do you want to die? Yin Xiao merely spat out these few words coldly. Qin Luo smiled enchantingly. No matter how you reject me now, in a while, you will love me, hover between life and death, and you will only want me. Little Worm's eyes widened in shock. Even the old man beside Yun Xiao looked at the woman in black in astonishment. He had lived for so many years and seen so many different kinds of people, but he had never seen anyone who could be so shameless. Xiao could not wait to kill her, yet she still said that the other party would love her to death. This was so shameless that it left others in the dust. The old man shook his head and sighed. He felt that he had lived for so many years in vain. Boom! Murderous intent surged from Xiao's body as a powerful force instantly pressed towards Qin Luo. Qin Luo smiled, and his mental energy rumbled out, heading towards Xiao's mind. From now on, I'm the woman you love. Qin Luo raised his head arrogantly, a confident smile on his lips. No man could escape from her forbidden technique. Even the man in front of her couldn't do it. Really? The corners of Xiao's lips curled up into a cold smile. In the meantime, with a loud bang, a powerful force pierced through the black-robed woman's mental energy and into her mind, causing her to stumble back. She raised her head in disbelief as her beautiful eyes stared fixedly at Xiao. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Why is my forbidden technique useless against you? Her face was deathly pale, and her lips trembled. For decades, many men had entered this place by mistake, but until now, no one had been able to escape her imprisonment. Chapter 17:03. Xiao coldly walked towards Qin Luo. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, and his entire body emitted a piercingly cold aura. At this moment, Xiao was undoubtedly terrifying. He was like a god of death who had walked out from a pool of fresh blood, causing one to shudder. Qin Luo quickly recovered. She burst into laughter as her lips curled into a mocking smile. Interesting, this is too interesting. To think that there would be someone in this world with such powerful mental strength that he could resist my temptation. However, Qin Yu's smile grew even wider. This way, I'm even more interested in you. She licked her sexy red lips as her beautiful eyes narrowed slightly with a lustful light. In the beginning, she had preferred Bai Su's devilish face. But now, she felt that she was more interested in this man. Bai Su was too easy to obtain. On the contrary, only a man like this who could resist her forbidden technique could easily provoke her desire to conquer him. TSK, this is the first time this old man has seen a woman like this. The old man, who had been silent all this while, could not help but sneer when he heard Qin Luo's words. His voice carried a hint of mockery. Qin Luo's expression changed. She glared sharply at the old man and spat out a few words coldly. You have a death wish. If this old man was a few decades younger, perhaps she would have been interested. However, he was already so old, and he actually dared to appear in front of her. Anyone who came to the Hidden God Mountain would either die in her hands or be snatched back by her to be her husband. It was obvious that this old man was the former. This old man indeed has a death wish. I'm not as good as you. Since you failed to seduce a man, you try to snatch him by force. The old man shook his head. He felt that he had truly broadened his horizons today. This was the first time he had seen a woman like this. You're courting death. Qin Luo was enraged. The aura from her entire body surged violently and swept towards the old man like a tidal wave. Her eyes were filled with viciousness. Xiao frowned and waved his sleeves. An aura that did not lose to Qin Luo's clashed with his. With a loud bang, the two auras stirred up a shockwave that instantly flattened the surrounding trees. Qin Luo's expression changed. She raised her head to look at Xiao's cold expression and asked word by word, You really don't want to obey me? Yes, the man said coldly and concisely. Qin Luo sneered. What a pity, what a pity. You might not know this, but I've already sent people to find the woman you love. Maybe her soul has already returned to the underworld. Haha. Xiao's expression did not change, but one could clearly feel that his aura was gradually becoming unstable. Qin Luo could clearly sense the rage in Xiao's heart, and he raised the corners of his lips in a provocative manner. If you obediently obey me, I will return your fiancée to you. Otherwise, I will immediately send an order to my people and have them grind Yun Luofeng's bones to dust. Xiao's pupils contracted slightly as the aura on his body grew more and more domineering. His voice was cold and murderous. "If she dies, you'll accompany her in death." Upon hearing this, Qin Luo froze for a moment. He didn't expect him to be so impervious to threats. Do I really have to kill this man? Wasn't that too much of a waste? She had been lonely for so many years and finally found such a man. However, before Qin Luo could think of a way to deal with Xianxia, the man's figure was already right in front of him. His palm was like lightning, and his body was like a gust of wind as he landed on Qin Luo's chest with a loud bang. Qin Luo's eyes narrowed slightly, and he took 2 steps back. His eyes carried a sense of vigilance. Chapter 1704. Boom! The 2 palms collided and the earth shook. In an instant, even the sky was shrouded in a layer of smoke, losing its original appearance. The old man sat down and took out the fire eagle leg that he had hidden earlier. He watched the 2 of them fight while enjoying the delicious food. Seems like it's still lacking something. The old man frowned slightly, then moved away. He took out a teacup from his spatial ring, poured tea leaves into it, and filled it with water. As the temperature of his palm rose, the tea began to boil as well. "This is the tea that Yin girl gave me when she left the Jun family. I think it's called spirit tea. It tastes pretty good. The only thing lacking is that we don't have hot water right now, so we can only use this method to brew tea." Watching a show, how could he skip tea when there was food to eat? Grandpa Jun chuckled. Of course, if his old friend was here, it would be good for them to have a cup of tea. This kid's strength is not bad. At such a young age, his strength is already surpassing mine. Yin girl really has good eyes. In fact, Grandpa Jun had recognized Xianxia from the beginning. He could also see that this man was cold. Before he knew if Yin Luofeng had told Xianxia everything, he would not hastily acknowledge him. Otherwise, what if she thought he had other intentions? Because of this, Grandpa Jun snorted at Qin Luo's actions. Trying to steal a man from Yin girl? Did she take care of herself? And trying to pretend to be Yin girl? Did she think everyone was blind? Actually, this was also because Xianxia was a man. If Yin Luofeng was in danger, Grandpa Jun would have fought with this woman. Why would he sit back and watch the show? As for Qin Luo's claim that he had already sent people to deal with Yin Luofeng, he did not believe it. If Yin Luofeng had really died by her hands, she would not have such an expression and tone. Moreover, if this woman had personally gone, he would have been a little worried. However, he had only sent his subordinates. How could they be a match for Yin girl? Bang! Qin Luo raised his hand and shot out a ray of light. Coincidentally, this ray of light hit the teacup in Grandpa Jun's hand. In an instant, the freshly brewed tea broke apart and fell into Grandpa Jun's hand. Grandpa Jun's face immediately darkened. Of course, it wasn't because he was scalded, but because his heart ached for these tea leaves. That was what Yin Luofeng had given him, and he had only given him a total of 8 taels of silver. He shouted, "That's pretty much all I have left today." In the end, and this damned woman spilled it, the old man was furious. He stood up from the ground and angrily walked towards Yun Xiao and Yun Ruoyan. "Kid, get lost. Let me handle it." Yun Zhao's injuries had yet to recover, so he naturally appeared to be rather powerless. Even so, Qin Luo was still not his match. Because of this, the old man, who had seen through Yun Zhao's strength from the very beginning, was very assured that he would fight his opponent. It was just that he didn't expect Qin Luo to spill his tea. This was equivalent to taking his life. "Old beggar, I have no interest in you, and I don't want to kill you for the time being. Get lost." Qin Luo was very angry. Her chest was heaving up and down. Her beautiful eyes stared at Grandpa Jun. Old beggar. Grandpa Jun looked at himself. Indeed, ever since he had fallen into that trap, he had not been able to take a proper bath. His white robes were already covered in dust, and his white hair was in a mess. Didn't he look exactly like a beggar? Little girl, don't look down on others. This old man has been hiding his strength for so many years. I'm afraid that I will have to reveal it here. Chapter 1705. Grandpa Jun snorted, and a sharp aura erupted from his body. Yin Xiao looked at Grandpa Jun and quickly retracted her gaze, not saying a word. Half step into the void realm. Qin Luo's expression changed slightly. There is actually a half step into the void realm expert in this continent, Grandpa June said coldly. A few years ago, I broke through to the half step into the void realm, but because of some restrictions, I did not dare to reveal my strength. Fortunately, this is the Hidden God Mountain. I naturally have nothing to fear. After the sage, there was an even more powerful strength. One of them was the half step into the void realm, which was equivalent to stepping into the void. Only those who truly stepped into the void were worthy of being called gods. Even so, in this continent that lacked cultivation resources, Qin Luo never thought that there would actually be someone who broke through to the half step into the void realm. Old man, I don't know what you're so arrogant about breaking through to the half step into the void realm. If I wasn't locked up in this place, and my strength was restricted, I would have killed you long ago. Qin Luo quickly regained her composure and arrogantly raised her chin, looking down at Grandpa June with disdain. Grandpa June chuckled. Half step into the void realm is not worthy of being arrogant. It's enough to deal with you. Qin Luo's expression suddenly darkened. She was able to last so long in Yun Zhao's hands because Yun Zhao's injuries had not recovered. However, the old man in front of her was not so easy to deal with. Could it be that she really wanted to use that method? Qin Luo bit her lips tightly and muttered to herself. At this moment, a strong pressure quickly came, causing Qin Luo's expression to change again. She hurriedly turned her head and looked at Yun Zhao's cold eyes. Although the old man is half step into the void realm, and I have an 80% chance of escaping from him, there's still the Ghost Emperor next to him. If he stops me, then I only have a 40% chance. More importantly, am I really willing to let this Yun Zhao go? Qin Luo's eyes flickered, and she finally made up her mind. She raised her head, and her beautiful face was cold. Fortunately, when the Qin family locked me up, they gave me a life-saving method, which allowed me to temporarily increase my strength. After saying this, a gust of wind rose around Qin Luo, and her hair fluttered in the wind. The little worm rubbed its big eyes and stared in shock at Qin Luo, whose power was increasing rapidly. Its voice was filled with terror. Master, quick, run. This woman is from that place. Yin Xiao did not move. On the other hand, the old man was like a monk scratching his head in confusion. What's going on? Why did her power suddenly become so terrifying? Indeed, Qin Luo's aura was terrifying. Even the experienced old man felt a chill run down his spine. Even though Yin Xiao did not move, a sense of caution appeared in his black eyes. Ghost Emperor, you are my man. Qin Luo laughed sinisterly. Originally, I only wanted the two of us to be in love. That way, it would be easier on the bed. But now, I can only forcefully take you, ha ha. For a woman to say such shameless words, she was still very proud. But, just as she finished speaking, an evil laugh rang out from nowhere. When did my husband become your man? In the sky, the woman was dressed in white. She was extremely beautiful, and her grace was outstanding. A demonic smile hung on her face, and her figure slowly landed in front of Yun Xiao. Chapter 1706. Ever since she had appeared, Yun Zhao's gaze had never left her. It was as if nothing in the world could compare to her. You're here. After a long while, the man's thin lips parted, and he gently spat out these words. Yes, I'll come and find you. Yun Luofeng curled the corners of her lips, and her dark eyes filled with a smile. She was not afraid of Qin Luo at all. Yes, as long as he was by her side, would there be any difficulties that they couldn't handle? Qin Luo's expression was very ugly. Yun Luofeng, why are you here? Did that woman, Jin Yu, fail? She couldn't kill you? Yun Luofeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and the smile on her lips was cold. I heard that you want to steal my husband? Qin Luo scoffed. So what? Is that so? Yun Luofeng shrugged. Then you might suffer a double loss. Qin Luo's expression was gloomy. What do you mean? What I mean is already very clear. Jin Yu went to your palace to find Bai Su. If you return late, Bai Su might be taken away by her. Hearing this, Qin Luo laughed mockingly. Bai Su loves me to death. She won't leave me. Yun Luofeng shook her head. I brought poison to Jinyu that can make Bai Su fall into a coma. So, taking him away will be easy. This was what she had discussed with Jinyu. She would give Jinyu the poison to take Bai Su away, and she would use this matter to lure Qin Luo over. As for whether she could take Bai Su away before Qin Luo returned, that would depend on Jin Yu's own strength. Sure enough, after hearing Yun Luofeng's words, Qin Luo's expression instantly darkened. She seemed to be filled with anger. Unfortunately, this anger did not last long before it was suppressed by her. If Bai Su leaves, I can still capture him. If the Ghost Emperor leaves, I'm afraid that it will be very difficult for me to capture her again. Qin Luo laughed coldly and raised her chin slightly as she spoke arrogantly. Furthermore, you must die. Yes. If Yun Luofeng had not been here, perhaps she would have immediately abandoned Yunxiao to capture Bai Su. However, because of Yun Luofeng, she must stay here and kill him. Yun Luofeng's eyes darkened. He walked to Yun Zhao's side and asked in a low voice, "How confident are you?" Yun Xiao looked at Qin Luo silently and said in a low voice, 5 points. But Yun Xiao thought for a moment, then continued. She used a secret technique to raise her strength, so there should be a time limit. When the time comes, I'm very confident. Previously, Qin Luo wasn't Yun Zhao's match at all. If Yun Xiao hadn't been injured, killing her would have been a piece of cake. Yun Luofeng turned his gaze to Little Worm. Little Worm shuddered all over and took 2 steps back timidly. He said weakly, "Don't look at me. I can't beat her. You are the ancestor of the dragon race. Is this useless?" Yun Luofeng raised an eyebrow. "If that's the case, I might as well roast you and eat you." The Little Worm looked at Yun Luofeng in horror. Was this woman a demon? No. I'm useful. I'm definitely useful. Useful to you? Then why would you let Yun Xiao get hurt? Yun Luofeng sneered. It was understandable that Little Worm could not defeat this woman. But what about before? With him around, Yun Xiao could actually fight Bai Su to the point where both sides were injured. Little Worm had wanted to defend himself, but was suddenly at a loss for words. Yes, he was indeed useless. He had actually injured his master, but who asked him to be so cowardly? He didn't dare to fight anyone at all. I'll give you 15 minutes to think of a way to deal with this woman. Don't be in a hurry to reject me. I know you definitely have a way. Yun Xiao and I will delay her for 15 minutes. If you can't do it, then you're useless. We might as well roast you and eat you. Chapter 17:07. The Little Worm's expression changed on the spot, its eyes filled with fear. The woman in front of it was clearly not trying to scare it. If it really couldn't think of a way, she would really roast it and eat it. Yun Luofeng ignored the Little Worm and turned her gaze to Qin Luo. At this moment, she no longer hid her strength and released all of her subordinates: Fire, Small Tree, TT, and Xiao Mo, Yun Yi, the Skeleton Corps, the gold-seeking Mice Clan. Qin Luo was enraged when he saw the Skeleton Corps. He glared at Yun Luofeng. "So, it was you who stole my Skeleton Corps." Yun Luofeng's eyebrows twitched unconsciously. So this Skeleton Corps was Qin Luo's. Humph. Qin Luo snorted, her beautiful eyes filled with anger. "But since you've released all of your subordinates, I won't leave a single one of them behind." As soon as Qin Luo's words fell, lightning flashed and thunder roared. The wind blew and the clouds surged. Her hair danced wildly in the wind. Her beautiful face contorted in anger. "TSK, crazy girl, I didn't think that we would meet again at a time like this." "Not bad, not bad." Grandpa Jun chuckled twice and looked at Qin Luo with a solemn expression. He was thinking about a problem. If he could hold Qin Luo back, Yun Girl and the Ghost Emperor would have some hope of escaping. Moreover, he could see that as long as they escaped from the Hidden God Mountain, no matter how strong this woman was, she would not be able to do anything to them. Yun Luofeng looked at Grandpa Jun in surprise when he heard this. "Why are you here?" Grandpa Jun had been pretending to be an immortal, but when he heard Yun Luofeng's words, he almost stumbled and fell to the ground. He looked at Yun Luofeng with a face full of resentment. "Yin Girl, you didn't even notice my existence?" In any case, he was still a living person, and he was standing right beside Xianxia. How could this last not notice him? How low was his sense of existence? Yin Luofeng rubbed his nose, a bright smile on his face. Sorry, wherever Xianxia appears, I can only see him. If you hadn't spoken, I wouldn't have noticed your existence. At this moment, Grandpa Jun's expression was one of grievance. It was likely that he had the urge to bang his head against the wall. Xianxia coldly looked at Grandpa Jun. From their conversation, he had already guessed Grandpa Jun's identity. Who would have thought that this old man was her cheap grandfather? Yin Luofeng, don't think that I don't know that you're deliberately stalling for time. Qin Luo snorted coldly, the aura on his body becoming more and more intense. Unfortunately, I won't give you that chance. Yin Luofeng shrugged and turned to Qin Luo in surprise. Looks like you're not that stupid after all. Oomph. Qin Luo snorted, and a strong pressure pressed over. A smug smile appeared on her face. Xiao. Yin Luofeng took a deep breath. If he couldn't stall for time, then he could only go head-on. Whoosh! Yin Zhao's figure was akin to a hawk, his speed astonishingly swift. In no time at all, he had already arrived beside Qin Luo. In the meantime, the beasts also began to move. Huahua transformed into a fiery red fox, his body burning with raging flames. Wherever he passed, the ground was scorched, and the air was filled with a strong, burnt smell. TT opened its bloody mouth and charged ferociously towards Qin Luo. Before it could bite Qin Luo's thigh, it was sent flying by Qin Luo's palm, but did not stop moving and continued to charge towards Qin Luo. Chapter 1708. Under the leadership of Milk Tea and the Rat Empress, the Golden-Seeking Rat Clan also interfered with Qin Luo. However, the Golden-Seeking Rat Clan was not very strong. This kind of interference was not very effective. It could only delay for a little bit of time. The immortality of the skeleton core was something that Qin Luo had spent many years of hard work on. One could imagine how powerful it was. Even though the current skeleton core was only at the Saint Monarch realm, it was precisely because of their immortality that Qin Luo had suffered quite a bit. Of course, the most powerful one was none other than the little tree. Ever since he had absorbed the memories, his strength had increased by quite a bit. However, it would not be so easy to restore his former glory. He could only gradually increase his strength. However, those waving vines seemed to have a life of their own. Not only would they take the initiative to attack, they would also dodge Qin Luo's skills. As a result, they interfered with Qin Luo's movements, allowing Yin Zhao's attack to land on her body. However, the current Qin Luo was not the same as before. This kind of attack could not cause much damage to her. Qin Luo secretly gritted her teeth. She was very angry in her heart. If not for the fact that the Qin family had restricted her freedom and sealed her strength, she would not have been so passive. If she had the strength from before, she would have been able to instantly kill these people. Thinking of this, Qin Luo's eyes flickered a few times as his gaze landed on Yin Luofeng's face. The reason why he was in such a passive state was all because of this woman. She could let go of the people here, but she had to die. Scram! Qin Luo waved his palm away from the fire's attack and took the opportunity to rush towards Yin Luofeng. However, before she could reach Yin Luofeng, she was once again blocked by Yun Xiao. The man in front of him was as cold as a god of death. It was also terrifying. Qin Luo's heart trembled, but he was even more unwilling. Ghost Emperor, you'd better not go against me. Otherwise, don't blame me for not showing mercy to the fairer sex. Qin Luo did not feel that it was wrong to use the word pity on a man. In the eyes of the world, women were men's accessories, but in her eyes, men were just women's toys. Yun Xiao was a man of few words. He did not even spare a single word for her. Furthermore, she did not even exist in his cold, dark eyes. Qin Luo was incomparably furious. His palm was wrapped in a layer of spirit energy as he struck towards Yun Zhao's chest. Watching this battle, Yin Luofeng's heart gradually sank. She kept thinking about how she could get out of this predicament. Although Qin Luo's secret technique had a time limit, perhaps Yun Xiao and the others wouldn't be able to hold on until then. Mistress! Suddenly, the little worm let out a loud cry. Yin Luofeng was stunned. When he raised his head, he saw that the fat insect had already arrived in front of him. With a plop, the little bug kissed her forehead. Yin Luofeng frowned. She didn't even have time to throw away the little bug that had molested her when she felt a pain between her eyebrows. A cold feeling spread through her entire body through her eyebrows. The little bug fell from the sky and landed on Yin Luofeng's open palm. It looked at Yin Luofeng pitifully. I've already given you my most precious blood essence. I'll need a long time to recover. You have to keep your word. Don't eat me. Even when it closed its eyes, Little Worm did not forget to remind it, afraid that Yin Luofeng would eat it up while it was asleep. Xiao and Mo, take care of it. Yin Luofeng threw Little Worm to Xiao and Mo. Soon after, she felt her blood surge and her power gradually rise. Chapter 1709. Little Mo's gaze followed Yin Luofeng. He had a feeling that Yin Luofeng, who had obtained the essence blood of the ancestral dragon, was so powerful that it was terrifying. On this mainland, dragons were a powerful and rare spiritual beast. Not only were they powerful, but their entire body was also a treasure. Whether it was dragon blood, dragon flesh, or dragon tendons, they were all great supplements, not to mention the essence blood of the dragon. One must know that essence blood was the most precious thing in a dragon's body. When a dragon gave away its essence blood, it was equivalent to draining its own essence. This showed how important essence blood was. Moreover, the dragon in front of him was not an ordinary person. It was the ancestor of the dragon clan. How precious was the essence blood of the ancestral dragon? This drop of essence blood would not only temporarily help Yin Luofeng increase his power, but also it would benefit him greatly and help him avoid many detours in his future journey. Little Amo looked at the little worm in his arms and raised an eyebrow. Perhaps when Yun Xiao accepted this ancestral dragon, he had been planning on doing this. Otherwise, why would he save this little fellow for no reason? Qin Luo had wanted to quickly deal with this group of people, but she suddenly felt a power coming from in front of her. She raised her head in shock. When she saw Yin Luofeng's power rising, panic flashed across her eyes. What's going on? Could this woman also use a secret skill to increase her power? No, there was no such method on this mainland. Even if there was, she was now a godlike existence. On such a backward mainland, there was still someone who could raise her power to the godlike level. Qin Luo's face was pale as she retreated step by step. However, before she could turn around and escape, a demonic voice rang out from above her head. Where are you going? The woman in white slowly walked down from the void. Her lips curled into a sinister smile as she stared coldly at Qin Luo. Qin Luo suppressed the panic in her heart and gritted her teeth. You're lucky today. I'll settle the score with you in the future. Future? Yin Luofeng chuckled. You still have a future? Qin Luo clenched her fists tightly. If this had happened in the beginning, she would have fought with Yin Luofeng. Both of them had used a secret skill to increase their power, and it was uncertain who would survive. However, her time was almost up. Once her time was up, she would be at the mercy of others. Therefore, she could only leave for the time being and wait for her to recover before settling the score with these people. Unfortunately, this woman obviously didn't want her to leave. Get lost. Qin Luo had no intention of begging for mercy. She leaped up and charged toward Yin Luofeng, her eyes filled with ruthlessness. Yin Luofeng gently stretched out his hand, bang. She wrapped her hand tightly around the man's outstretched fist as a cold smile flashed across her pitch-black eyes. You wanted to steal my man, and now you're leaving just like that? Qin Luo was so angry that his face turned red, and he glared at Yin Luofeng. You keep talking about your man. As a woman, don't you have any shame? In the past, Qin Luo was despised by others due to his lust. At that time, she stood up and taught those people a lesson. She claimed that men could have multiple wives, so why couldn't she? Of course, that was when it happened to her. If it was related to someone else, for example, Yin Luofeng, in her heart, She firmly believed that the other was shameless, without any feminine virtues. Yin Luofeng smiled. He is my legitimate man. Did I say anything wrong? If my actions are shameful, then shouldn't you be so ashamed that you want to steal someone else's man, that you want to kill yourself? Chapter 17:10. You? Qin Luo's face was ferocious. Yin Luofeng, don't be so smug. If you dare to touch a finger of mine, someone will definitely come and kill you for me. Is that so? Yin Luofeng raised her eyebrows. Then I'll wait for that person to come and kill me. Yin Xiao had already silently stood beside Yin Luofeng. His black eyes were cold and murderous. Just his aura alone made Qin Luo feel a little scared. This man was the same as the old man. They were both at the half-step void realm. Moreover, he had just stepped into this realm not too long ago. However, his aura was too strong, so strong that it was frightening. Qin Luo forcefully retracted his fist from Yin Luofeng's palm and then kicked Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng sneered. She wanted to block it, but who knew that at this moment, her body would stiffen. With a bang, a powerful force broke through her mind and directly shot Qin Luo in front of her. The illusion, in the end, was still broken. The steel flame core that Yin Luofeng had thrown into the illusion to cultivate were automatically transported out when the illusion was broken. They fell to the ground miserably. Their expressions were filled with shock and confusion, as if they didn't know what had happened. Just as Yin Luofeng's expression was changing bit by bit, an excited laughter suddenly came, causing Yin Luofeng's body to tremble. Zhu Qian, I finally left that damned illusion. Ha ha ha. Mo Qianxing's doll-like face had an excited smile. His eyes were flashing with excitement. He saw Yin Luofeng with a glance and quickly rushed towards her, reaching out to hug her. Just as Mo Qianxing was in front of Yin Luofeng, a hand reached out from the side and pulled Yin Luofeng into an embrace. The cold eyes were like sharp swords that shot towards Mo Qianxing. Who are you? Mo Qianxing's face sank. There was actually another man beside. Zhu Qian? Yin Zhao's eyes were very firm. I am her husband. Mo Qianxing broke down. His doll-like face pulled down as he angrily pointed at Yin Xiao and said to Yin Luofeng, Zhu Qian, tell me, this man is lying. How can you have a husband? He must be lying. I waited for you for so many years. How can you abandon me? How? Yin Luofeng had given Mo Qianxing pointers before. Back then, in the illusion realm, she had no choice but to impersonate Zhu Qian in order to save Ji Jiutian. Originally, he wanted to raise his strength before Mo Qianxing left the illusion so that he would at least have the confidence to deal with him in the future. But who knew that Mo Qianxing would actually shatter the illusion in advance? This man must have tempted you. I'm going to kill him. If he dies, you'll be mine. Yin Zhao's brows twitched slightly. Just as he was about to step forward, a hand reached out from behind and grabbed his arm. Yin Luofeng shook his head at him and looked at Mo Qianxing. To tell you the truth, I am not Zhu Qian. Back then, I pretended to be him in order to save Ji Jiutian. No, you are Zhu Qian. Mo Qianxing's expression was very painful. You locked me in the illusion for 1,000 years. I waited for you for 1,000 years. Why do you have to do this to me? The corner of Yin Luofeng's mouth twitched. At that time, she had only made up a lie. Who would have thought that Mo Qianxing had already stubbornly believed that she was Zhu Qian? Fenger, wait for me. Yin Xiao moved closer to Yin Luofeng's ear and whispered. Yin Xiao. Yin Luofeng's heart tightened. Mo Qianxing's strength is not simple. You don't worry. I will come back alive to see you. Chapter 17:11. When Yin Xiao finished speaking, he and Mo Qianxing disappeared at the same time, leaving only a light breeze that brushed past Yin Luofeng's ears. Grandpa Jun seemed to see Yin Luofeng's worry and raised the corner of his lips slightly. Little girl, don't worry. Yin Xiao is not such a reckless person. He definitely has his own plans. Yin Luofeng raised her brows and glanced at Grandpa Jun. I heard that you came to find me, in Yin Xiao. Why have you been here for so many days? Grandpa Jun's expression was a little awkward. It's a long story, then make it short. Cough, cough. Grandpa June coughed dryly. It's like this. After I arrived at the Hidden God Mountain, I coincidentally met a couple. I decided to travel together with them. Unfortunately, we were separated midway. Grandpa June felt a little regretful at the mention of this matter. Even he did not know why he felt a little uneasy in front of that couple. Furthermore, the red-clothed woman gave him an extremely familiar feeling. After we were forced to separate from that couple, I fell into a dangerous situation and even picked up the injured Xianxia. We finally managed to escape the trap, but we encountered that crazy woman again. The old man was very indignant. Yin Luofeng asked no more. She looked in the direction that Yun Xiao and Mo Qiansheng had left with a trace of worry in her eyes. After a while, Yun Xiao and Mo Qiansheng both appeared in front of Yin Luofeng. At this moment, the two of them didn't fly in the air. Instead, they walked over from distance. They were injured, and Mo Qiansheng was glaring at Yun Xiao furiously. It was as though he wanted to eat him alive. So fast, Yin Luofeng was stunned. She did not have time to worry for too long, and Yun Xiao was already done. Yun Xiao's figure flashed, and he raised his hand to pull Yin Luofeng into his embrace. His cold black eyes gradually surged with a trace of a smile. I will definitely be very fast when it comes to other matters, but the man paused. In bed, I will definitely be very slow. Yin Luofeng's expression darkened. She looked up and met the man's smiling black eyes. A black line instantly appeared on her forehead. Yun Xiao, who taught you to say such words? She vaguely remembered that Yin Xiao knew nothing about love. She was pure and cute. Now he could actually tease her without batting an eyelid. Self-taught. Yun Xiao's black eyes stared at the woman in his arms as the corners of his lips curled. Mo Qiansheng's face couldn't be any darker, and his gaze seemed to want to kill Yin Xiao. Tell me, what happened? In any case, Mo Qiansheng was an old monster who had lived for so many years, while Yin Xiao was only a young man in his 20s. If Yin Xiao was given a few more years, Mo Qiansheng would definitely not be his match. But now, he claimed that he could defeat me even without using his full power. Yin Xiao swept an indifferent glance at Mo Qiansheng, so I made a rule with him, that he was not allowed to use his spiritual energy and that he would obtain victory through physical combat. He agreed. Yin Luofeng raised his brows and asked. That's right. Yin Xiao nodded. However, I've also made a request. That is for both parties to seal their own powers. Indeed, spiritualists could seal their strengths, and powerful people could also seal people that were weaker than them. Of course, no one would do such a thing if they sealed their own strength, because once one's strength was sealed, it would be impossible to remove it without the help of an outsider. This was also the reason why they had to rely on their feet to get here. Chapter 17:12. Don't tell me he agreed to this. Yin Luofeng was startled. Mo Qiansheng wasn't just simple, he was stupid. Perhaps Yin Luofeng was right. Mo Qiansheng's face became uglier and uglier as he glared at Yin Xiao. He didn't agree at first. Yin Xiao raised the corners of her lips slightly. But I goaded him into agreeing. He was angered by me, so he agreed. Mo Qiansheng snorted. What's so great about that? You only defeated me with physical strength. If you have the ability, let's compete in real strength. As if he didn't hear Mo Qiansheng, Yin Xiao let go of Yin Luofeng and slowly walked in front of Grandpa June here. Only you're half a step into the Void Realm, so you can help me break the seal. Mo Qiansheng's eyes widened as he suddenly understood something. His adorable, smiling face instantly turned red. You did it on purpose. Yin Xiao glanced at Mo Qiansheng and said in an infuriating manner, You found out? Mo Qiansheng trembled. This guy purposely tricked him into sealing his spiritual energy, so he could dominate Zhu Qian. Yin Xiao, since when did you become so two-faced? Yin Luofeng glanced at the livid Mo Qiansheng with a smile in his eyes. Speaking of which, Mo Qiansheng was a pitiful person. However, a pitiful person must have a hateful side. If Mo Qiansheng hadn't betrayed Zhu Qian, why would he have been trapped in the illusion for 1,000 years? Even though he regretted it in the end, betrayal was betrayal, just like a broken mirror that couldn't be fixed. Kids, sit tight. Grandpa Jun made Xianxia sit cross-legged in front of him and slammed his rough hand on Xiao's shoulder. Instantly, his body shook, as if there was a powerful force flowing through his body. Not long after, there was a loud bang and a gust of air rushed out, enveloping the entire area in a thick spiritual energy. The feeling of recovering my strength is not bad. Xiao loosened his shoulders as his gaze slowly landed on Yun Luofeng's body. Xiao, you can't take risks anymore. Yun Luofeng's heart finally calmed down, but his face was still cold. I'm worried, what? Yin Luofeng was stunned, not understanding what the man meant. I'm worried that you have such a hidden danger by your side. Fortunately, he is easily deceived. With just a few words, he sealed his strength. He did not know if Xiao was doing it on purpose, but the moment these words came out, the originally ashen-faced Imo Qiansheng almost burst into tears. His eyes were bloodshot as he glared fixedly at Xiao. His gaze looked as if he wanted to tear the other party into 1,000 pieces before he would be satisfied. Liar, you big liar. Imo Qiansheng bit his lip and glared angrily at Xiao before turning to Yin Luofeng. His expression instantly became extremely aggrieved. Zhu Qian, what's so good about this man? You should immediately divorce him and marry me. I've waited for you for so many years. Do you have the heart to abandon me? Yin Luofeng frowned. I am Yin Luofeng. You're Zhu Qian. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to obtain his inheritance. A person like Zhu Qian would rather let his things disappear in the long river of time than hand them over to someone else, unless this person is his reincarnation. Hearing this, Yin Luofeng felt very helpless. Even though she had yet to find Zhu Qian's successor, she had a feeling that one day she would meet Zhu Qian's successor. But now, she had to think of a way to deal with this Imo Qiansheng. Chapter 17:13. Yin Xiao, what do you think? Yin Luofeng turned to Yin Xiao and asked. We can't kill him now. Yin Xiao pondered for a while and said, Little Yin Xiao, in my opinion, you should keep this kid by your side so that he doesn't harm others. Although Imo Qiansheng's powers were sealed, who knew if he would break the seal if he was provoked? Moreover, even if they wanted to kill him, it wouldn't be that easy. This guy is still a ticking time bomb. It's dangerous to keep him by my side. Yin Luofeng raised his brows and said slowly. Even though the old man didn't know what a ticking time bomb was, he could roughly understand what Yin Luofeng meant. Imo Qiansheng heard their conversation and felt very angry and wronged. He wanted to snatch Yin Luofeng to his side, but he also knew it was futile. Yin Xiao. Yin Luofeng pondered for a while, and a light flashed in his eyes. How long can a seal last? There are many types of seals. For a seal that was placed on oneself, there would definitely be some leeway. 3 years. In these 3 years, he won't be able to break the seal on his own, unless he's facing a life and death situation, and there's a 50% chance of breaking the seal. This was also why Yin Xiao claimed that he couldn't kill Imo Qiansheng. Then keep him by your side for the time being. 3 years' time was more than enough. All right. Yin Xiao didn't refute Yin Luofeng's words. In his opinion, Imo Qiansheng wouldn't be a threat in these 3 years. It's a pity. Yin Luofeng sighed. It's a pity that Qin Luo escaped just now. My ancestral dragon blood essence is almost up, and I can't take advantage of the situation to pursue him. Yin Xiao turned to look at the dark mountains. His eyes narrowed, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Let's leave this place first. I'll find someone to flatten this hidden god mountain. North Continent. In the Continent Lord's residence, the Continent Lord's face darkened when he heard the guard's report. A ruthless look flashed in his eyes. Yin Luofeng is back. Before this, the Sacred Lady tribe had sent people to the Wuhui continent to find trouble with the Yi family. Yin Luofeng had also chased after them. However, just a few days ago, a spy from the North Continent Prefecture claimed to have seen Yin Luofeng in Jun City. In this way, the Sacred Maiden tribe had failed. Of course, as for Yin Luofeng's behavior in the Maiden's tribe, it was unknown. The Sacred Maiden tribe did not have the habit of interacting with the outside world, and Qin Shui was already dead. Naturally, no one told this matter to the continent lord. Father, a man silently walked in front of the continent lord. His eyes were filled with unconcealable hatred. Xianxia, why have you come? The continent lord's complexion looked a little better as he asked. Of his two sons, one was dead and one was injured. All of this was because of Yin Luofeng. He would never let that sinful woman off. Ling Shuang didn't have his usual elegant demeanor, and his eyes darkened. Father, could it be that the sacred maiden tribe failed and couldn't capture Yin Luofeng's relatives? That's right. I thought that the sacred maiden tribe was very powerful, but it turns out that they are a group of incompetent people. If we can't even capture a person, we might as well send someone from the North Continent. The continent lord snorted and said while gritting his teeth, Father, you can't say that. Be careful that the walls have ears. If the sacred maiden tribe hears it, it will definitely implicate the entire North Continent. A haze flashed in Ling Shuang's eyes. What's more, this time, the sacred maiden tribe underestimated the enemy and didn't send any experts. Also, the sacred maiden tribe has been standing for so many years, and they don't even give face to the major continents. She must have her own support. Maybe she's already half a step into the Void Realm. Chapter 17:14. Half-step Void Realm. These words made the continent lord suck in a breath of cold air. Our continent doesn't seem to have a half-step Void Realm expert, right? The earliest one was a few hundred years ago. I've always wanted to break through to that realm, but I couldn't. The Sacred Maiden Tribe's 3 Grand Elders reached the high-level Holy Monarch a few decades ago. Would the legendary matriarch of the Sacred Maiden Tribe be weak? That's right. The Sacred Maiden Tribe's 3 Grand Elders were already high-level Holy Monarchs. Would the matriarch of the Sacred Maiden Tribe be weaker than them? If she's still here, I believe that she's a half-step Void Realm expert. Unfortunately, she's been missing for more than a decade. The Continent Lord shook his head and said, Father, she's missing, but the 3 Grand Elders are still here. These 3 Grand Elders have been in seclusion for more than a decade. Maybe they've already broken through. In fact, for so many years, the continents have been afraid of the Sacred Maiden Tribe. It was not because of the 3 Grand Elders. It was because of the legendary matriarch of the Sacred Maiden Tribe. Many people had long guessed that she had reached the half-step Void Realm, but no one could confirm it. Even if she was missing now, no one dared to disrespect the Sacred Maiden Tribe. Father, a murderous look flashed across Ling Shuang's face. Yin Luofeng killed my brother and crippled me. This hatred, even if I kill her, it's not enough to resolve it. So, I can only make a move on the people around her to make her suffer. The Continent Lord's furrowed brows relaxed. Then what do you want to do? Ling Shuang sneered. You also know that I had a dispute with her because of Huang Yingying. At that time, I didn't know that Yin Luofeng and the Northern Continent had a grudge, nor did I know that Huang Yingying was her maid. Because of this, it caused a conflict between the two sides. Since she cares so much about Huang Yingying, then I must get her. Xianxia. The Continent Lord's face changed. Even if you're crippled by Yin Luofeng, you're still the Northern Continent's young master, the only heir. I will definitely find a cure for your illness. You must not marry that woman, Huang Yingying. Her identity is not worthy of you at all. Father, you're thinking too much. This time, I don't want to marry her. I want her to be my concubine. No, concubine is not qualified. I just need to play with her for a period of time. Hearing this, the Continent Lord let out a sigh of relief. He thought for a bit and said, If that's the case, don't let Huang Yingying go. Yin Luofeng is a very affectionate woman. If you capture Huang Yingying, you can threaten her. Ling Shuang's smile carried a trace of viciousness, and his eyes were filled with coldness. Huang Yingying, I was so good to you back then, but you abandoned me. Things are different now. Don't even think about getting my gentle treatment. I only have hatred for you. Xianxia, go and rest. I'll send someone to look for Huang Yingying. Yes, father. Ling Shuang bade farewell and left. The Continent Lord looked at Ling Shuang's back and frowned. If it weren't for the fact that he only had 2 sons, and that the other one had died, he would have long given up on this trash. Unfortunately, this piece of trash was his only son. He had to cure him at all costs. Yin Luofeng. So what if there are many people helping you? I have the support of the Sacred Lady tribe. Why would I be afraid of a little girl like you? Thinking of the past, the continent lord gritted his teeth in hatred. Whoever helps you will not escape death. Ever since the dispute over Hongluan in the eastern continent, they were destined to be enemies. Chapter 17:15. East Continent, June City. June Fengling raised her eyebrows and glanced at the group of people who surrounded her and Yi Jingchen. A cold glint flashed across her eyes. Young Master Yi, Madam Yi, may I have a chat with you? The middle-aged man who led the group walked to the two of them with a smile. Even though he had a smile on his face, it was a fake one. His small eyes were filled with cunning and sinister intent. June Fengling and Yi Jingchen looked at each other and smiled coldly. I'm sorry. I'm looking for someone in June City. I'm afraid I don't have the time. Ever since that day when she and Yi Jingchen entered the hidden divine mountain to search for Yin Luofeng, they had even met an old man who was traveling with them, who knew that they would meet with danger on the way, causing them to be separated. They were also heavily injured, but fortunately, they were rescued and left the hidden divine mountain. They had intended to continue into the hidden god mountain, but unexpectedly found out that Yin Luofeng had left alive. Moreover, he was in June City. Therefore, she and Yi Jingchen immediately rushed to the June family. As for the group of people in front of them, they had a dispute with them previously. Madam Yi, don't reject us too quickly. The middle-aged man smiled. You've just arrived, and there must be many inconveniences in the 7 continents. If you join the Wei family, it will be equivalent to an additional layer of protection. At this point, the middle-aged man paused. As for the person you're looking for, I'll definitely send someone to help you find him. What if I reject you? June Fengling's smile was cold as she said coldly. The middle-aged man's face darkened. Letting you join the Wei family is because you're convinced. Don't be ungrateful. If it weren't for the young lady's request, the Wei family would not allow anyone to join. Moreover, it should be up to young Master Yi to decide whether to join or not. A woman like you has no right to decide such an important matter. Sensing the anger of the woman beside him, Yi Jingchen held her hand and looked at the middle-aged man with a hint of coldness in his gentle eyes. My wife has the final say in the Yi family. She naturally represents my decision. You. The middle-aged man's face turned green as he pointed at Yi Jingchen angrily. Just as he was about to shout, a delicate voice came from behind. Uncle Wei, you can leave first. Let me talk to them. The girl's pretty voice instantly attracted the attention of many people on the street. She was dressed in a delicate pink dress, which made her skin look snow-white. She had become the most eye-catching person here. Mississippi. The people of the Wei clan cupped their fists and said respectfully, this young lady was the #1 genius of the Wei family. Not only was her appearance peerless, but her talent was also outstanding. In the entire eastern city, perhaps only the 2 from the June family could surpass her. Of course, even though June Fengling was similarly peerless in terms of beauty, no one from the Wei clan would ever admit this. Sir Yi, Wei Ling smiled as she walked up to Yi Jingchen. Her pretty face was filled with an innocent smile as she said, I really admire you. That's why I want to pull you into the Wei family. I can also make your wife a part of the Wei family. As long as you agree, I can give you everything in the Wei family. There were countless collateral descendants in the Wei clan, but there was only one direct descendant, Wei Ling. Therefore, she was the heir of the Wei clan. Chapter 17:16. The meaning of her words was even more clear. June Fengling smirked. This woman was trying to steal her man right in front of her. Did she think she was dead? Miss Wei, I don't like anything about the Wei family. I have a beautiful wife, Ling, and a pair of fists. That's enough for me. Yi Jingchen was disgusted by Wei Ling's gaze, and his tone turned colder. Wei Ling wasn't angry. She chuckled. Which man doesn't want power? The Wei family isn't the best in East Continent, but it's one of the best. I'm the heir of the Wei family. If you marry me, it's equivalent to marrying the entire Wei family. You're smart, Mr. Yi. I believe you know what's best for you. Yi Jingchen's face darkened. It was his first time seeing such a shameless woman. Get out of my way. He shouted coldly, not intending to waste any more time talking to the woman in front of him. Mr. Yi, I know that you and your wife love each other deeply. I won't do such a thing. How about this? As long as you enter the Wei family, I'll allow her to be your concubine. Although Wei Ling's tone was gentle and she had a smile on her face, her words sounded like charity. It was as if Jun Fengling had to thank her for becoming Yi Jingqian's concubine. Jun Fengling was so angry that she laughed. Is this the Wei family's tradition? First, you snatch someone else's husband on the street. Then, you make your first wife your husband's concubine? Yi Jingqian kept caressing Jun Fengling's chest, afraid that she would be angered by Wei Ling. Miss Jun, Wei Ling didn't address Jun Fengling as Madam Yi, as she didn't acknowledge her as such. Therefore, she paused before she continued. I'm not discussing with you. I'm just telling you my decision. You have no right to speak. When facing Yi Jingqian, Wei Ling was still polite, but in front of Jun Fengling, she put on a cold face and spoke arrogantly. I like to see how you can snatch my husband. Jun Fengling sneered. She quickly unsheathed her soft sword and confronted Wei Ling. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Wei Ling narrowed her eyes and waved her hand. She opened her mouth slightly and was about to order her men to take down Jun Fengling. Suddenly, a surprised voice came from behind. Adoptive mother. Jun Fengling was shocked and raised her head in shock. Her beautiful eyes widened as she looked at the woman who was pouncing toward her in shock. Chia. As soon as she said that, the woman threw herself fiercely into Gu Ruyun's arms. She lifted her dainty face, and it was filled with excitement and excitement. Godmother, why are you here? Jun Fengling had never returned since he left the Yi family 5 years ago. Come to think of it, they hadn't seen each other for 5 years. At the thought of being separated for 5 years, Yi Qi felt a lump in her throat and tears fell down her cheeks. Qi, compared to Yi Qi's excitement, Jun Fengling was shocked. Wasn't Yi Qi supposed to stay in the Wuhui continent? Why was she here? If she's here, doesn't that prove that Feng is really in Jun City? Godmother, big brother and sister-in-law are here. I'll take you to them. We could talk later. Yi Qi's tear-stained face lit up with a bright smile. She grabbed Jun Fengling's arm tightly, unwilling to let go. All right, let's go find her brother and sister-in-law. Chapter 1717. It's been 5 years. How could Jun Fengling not miss her children after being separated for 5 years? She had even forgotten about Wei Ling, who had been arguing with her earlier. Wei Ling's expression was ugly. She clenched her fists tightly, but she did not ask anyone to stop Jun Fengling. Young miss. Uncle Wei frowned and looked in the direction where Jun Fengling and Jun Fengling had left. I've seen the woman who called Jun Fengling my adoptive mother with Jun Ling. Wei Ling took a deep breath. I didn't expect Jun Fengling to know someone from the Jun family. No wonder she dared to look down on me. Jun Ling? The Jun family's Jun Ling? Uncle Wei's eyes widened in shock. If she's related to the Jun family, then we... No wonder young miss wanted to deal with Jun Fengling, but did not order anyone from the Wei family after that girl appeared. So she was related to the Jun family. After she appeared next to Ling, I went to investigate her identity. Unfortunately, I only know her name. It's hard to find out her background with just a name. The Wei family was not powerful enough. If it was someone like the Jun family, just a name would be enough to find out their background. Young miss, then Wei Ling shook her head. Jun Ling is very easy to talk to. When she makes friends, she doesn't care about their background. She only cares if they are pleasing to her eyes. Therefore, that woman named Yi Qi probably has no background. As for being a relative of the Jun family, that's even more impossible. I know all the relatives of the Jun family. Uncle Wei heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. That's good. Jun Ling, Er's friend, has no background. We don't need to be too afraid. More importantly, Jun Ling had a good temper and would not use her power to oppress others. Actually, there is no need for Jun Ling to be too afraid. Although our Wei family is in existence attached to the Jun family, the Jun family also needs us to work hard for them. In this way, Jun Ling will not fall out with our Wei family just because of friend. Wei Ling's eyes flickered a few times. Besides, Grandpa Jun and Patriarch Jun are both well-known powerhouses. They will not make things difficult for the younger generation just because of a small matter. In the Jun family, there's only one person I need to be afraid of. Wei Ling took a deep breath, her eyes filled with caution. Are you talking about that person? That's right, it's her, Yin Luofeng. Grandpa Jun had announced to the public that Yin Luofeng was his granddaughter. Perhaps it was because he wanted a granddaughter from the bottom of his heart. Moreover, Yin Luofeng was different from Junlinger. Junlinger would still have some misgivings because of the Jun family, but Yin Luofeng would not. She would not let off anyone who offended her. Uncle Wei sucked in a breath of cold air. He knew that what his family's young miss said was the truth. That woman called Yin Luofeng was a god of plague. He would rather offend the king of hell than offend her. Uncle Wei. Wei Ling turned to look at Uncle Wei and said seriously, "There have been so many handsome young men all these years, but none of them caught my eye. Now that I've finally found a man that I like, I won't give up. But, miss, the other party's backer is the Jun family, so what? She's just a friend of Junling. Tell me, if Grandpa Jun knew that his granddaughter had taught a friend full of stains, would he still allow them to stay in the Jun family?" Wei Ling's lips curled up. A cold light flashed through her eyes. Chapter 17:18. What do you want to do, miss? Find someone to spread a rumor. Claim that Yi Qi, who was on good terms with the Jun family's eldest daughter, Junling, had an affair outside. Not only did she get pregnant several times, but she also changed husbands. Moreover, isn't Jun Fengling her adoptive mother? Say that her adoptive mother had once sent Yi Qi to the bed of a powerful man in order to curry favor with him. Of course, that's not enough. I didn't find out anything about Yi Qi's past, but I sent someone to get information from Yi Qi. I found out that she had never seen her biological parents since she was a child. In this way, you can claim that it was Yi Qi's debauchery that angered her biological parents to death. The smile on Wei Ling's face deepened, her eyes gleaming. Jun Fengling, if you're not willing to give up your man, then I'll make you and your adoptive daughter lose all standing and reputation. Let's see how you're going to stay in the Jun family. The Jun family. Yin Luofeng was playing chess with Grandpa Jun. Xianxia was watching Yin Luofeng's face intently. It seemed like she couldn't get enough of him. At this moment, a joyful voice came from outside the door. "Second brother, second sister-in-law, your adoptive parents are here." Grandpa Jun's hand, which was holding onto the chess piece, trembled. He jumped up from his chair and looked outside the courtyard with an excited look in his old eyes. After a while, a red robe came into view, causing Grandpa Jun's pupils to shrink. He said in surprise, "It's you?" Jun Fengling and Yi Jingchen were also stunned, looking at Grandpa Jun and Yin Luofeng in front of them in confusion. "Feng or Xiao, you know this senior?" Jun Fengling was a little shocked. When they separated at the hidden sacred mountain, they thought that he was in danger. Now that they saw him standing there, alive and well, they were relieved. Grandpa Jun could no longer hold back his excitement and rushed towards Jun Fengling. No wonder he had an inexplicable good impression of Jun Fengling when he first saw him. He was actually Bam. Unfortunately, Grandpa Jun had just arrived in front of Jun Fengling when Yi Jingchen kicked him. The veins on his forehead bulged. "I didn't expect you to be such a person. How dare you molest my wife? I really misjudged you." Yi Jingchen didn't care whether the old man knew Yin Luofeng or not. All he knew was that the old man had rushed over to kill his wife. How could he allow anyone else to touch his wife? The old man's expression changed. His old face was livid. "How dare you hit your father-in-law? I'm going to ask my daughter to divorce you. I'm beating people like you who don't know your place." Yi Jingchen wanted to scold him, but he suddenly realized something and asked blankly, "What did you just say?" At this moment, Yin Luofeng, who had been watching the show from the side, finally spoke up. "The old man is right. He is Mother's father, your father-in-law." Yi Jingchen's face turned from green to white, and then from white to red. He finally realized how big of a mistake he had made. He hurriedly ran to the old man and asked with concern, "Old man, no, father-in-law, are you all right? I didn't do it on purpose. I thought you wanted to take advantage of my wife." Grandpa Sheng scoffed and turned his head away, ignoring Yi Jingchen. He was angry. This brat dared to kick him. Yi Jingchen quickly apologized. Father-in-law, I really didn't do it on purpose. Please forgive me. The old man angrily extended his finger and pointed at Yi Jingchen's head. Chapter 17:19. You snatched my daughter, and now you dare to kick me? Do you think an apology is enough? Yi Jingchen knew that he was in the wrong, but he didn't dare to say a word after being scolded by Grandpa Jun. He could only admit his mistake and apologize. Jun Fengling didn't say a word from beginning to end. She looked at Grandpa Jun with tears in her eyes. Father? So, she had a father too? Grandpa Jun felt Jun Fengling's gaze and turned to look at her. At that moment, tears streamed down his face. My precious daughter, I finally get to see you. Jun Fengling bit her red lips and let her tears flow freely. Are you really my father? Grandpa Jun nodded seriously. Back then, I was forced to take revenge for your mother and the other innocent souls of the Jun family. I had no choice but to hand you over to an old friend to raise. When I was done with my revenge, I went to look for you, but I couldn't find you even after searching the entire continent. Daughter, do you blame me? Never. She had never blamed him. Now that she heard the reason, she wouldn't blame him. Daughter, I miss you so much. Grandpa Jun quickly stepped forward and pulled Jun Fengling into his arms, crying like a child. Jun Fengling felt her body stiffen, but because the embrace was very warm, she couldn't bear to push it away. Grandpa, Mother, you can catch up later. We have other things to decide now. Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows and said with a smile that wasn't a smile. Only then did Grandpa Jun react and let go of the woman in his arms. He wiped the tears from the corner of his eyes and smiled. Yin girl is right. I do have other things to do. He paused and continued. Yin girl, I claim to be my granddaughter. Chi-er has been here for so long, but I haven't given her an official identity. The main thing is that I want to wait for you to appear and hold a ceremony to recognize your family. When that time comes, I will announce your identity to the entire continent. Whatever father decides. Jun Fengling smiled with tears in her eyes. She really didn't expect that she had a father. Her adoptive father didn't tell her anything before he passed away. She didn't even know that her family was in the 7 continents. All right. The old man clapped his hands. I've already sent people to the Wuhui continent to pick up your children and relatives. On that day, I'll invite all the people from the continent lord's mansions to attend. Now, I'll take you to meet your brother and niece. Even though the head of the Jun family was Old Master Jun's disciple, Old Master Jun did not refer to him as Jun Fengling's junior brother. Instead, he called him his younger brother. This also proved that the old man was raising his disciple like a son. Looking at the old man's smiling face and Jun Fengling's tears of joy, Yin Luofeng's lips unconsciously curled into a smile. At that moment, she seemed to have thought of something and turned to look at Yin Xiao. Did you find Qin Luo's whereabouts? This woman was always a hidden danger. Yin Xiao shook her head. She's very smart. After she escaped that day, she didn't return to the palace. I went there a few times, but I couldn't find her. Yin Luofeng frowned. After a long time, he relaxed his brows and smiled faintly. Since that's the case, we'll wait for her to come to us. I believe that she will come to us soon. In the meantime, I plan to break through in seclusion. A few days ago, Yin Luofeng felt that she was about to break through. Therefore, she decided to cultivate in seclusion. She would only come out after she broke through to the high-level Saint Monarch. Chapter 17:20. The 7 Continents. Ever since the war between the North Continent and the other continents, peace had returned to the entire continent. Everyone pretended as if nothing had happened and focused on their own tasks. It was precisely because of this peace that the people of the continent felt a sense of unease. However, in the midst of everyone's unease, a piece of news suddenly spread and caused a huge uproar on the continent. Old Master Jun Lintian's missing daughter had been found. It was common knowledge that Jun Lintian once had a daughter that he had entrusted to someone to take care of, who knew that the person had taken his daughter somewhere else. Hence, Jun Lintian had been searching for her for many years. Everyone thought that Jun Lintian would never have the chance to see his daughter again in this lifetime. Now, he had gone to announce to the entire continent that his daughter had returned. In that instant, everyone's minds were filled with excitement. If Jun Lintian's daughter was already married, her children must have grown up after so many years. They would undoubtedly be the best marriage partners. Compared to the turbulent times on the continent, the Jun family had always been peaceful. Although many people wanted to find out who Jun Lintian's daughter was, what kind of place was the Jun family? It wasn't something that they could easily find out. Therefore, everyone could only return in disappointment. The Jun family. A woman in white sat cross-legged on a tree at the back of the mountain. Her eyes were slightly closed as she breathed in and out. Faint spiritual energy was absorbed into her body. Boom! Yin Luofeng's body shook. It was as if a powerful force had broken through the top of his head and soared into the sky, forming a violent storm above his head. How powerful was the breakthrough of a high-level saint? A layer of dark clouds covered the sky. Lightning flashed incessantly within the dark clouds, proving that the woman had broken through. High-level saint. At the same time, everyone in Jun City was stunned by the aura in the sky above the Jun family. At that moment, in the forest not far from the Jun family, an old man stopped and narrowed his eyes slightly. The corners of his lips curled up slightly, and his eyes were filled with gratification. High-level saint? If I'm not mistaken, the one who broke through this time must be that brat, Jun Xian. He and Jun Lintian had been good friends for many years, and he naturally knew the pressure that his good friend had to endure all these years. If Jun Xian broke through to the high-level Saint Monarch realm, the Jun family would be able to stand tall in the 7 continents. I really envy this old man. First, he has such an outstanding disciple like Jun Xian. Now, not only has he found a daughter, but his granddaughter-in-law is also such a genius. If I had known this earlier, I would have snatched Yin Ruoyan away back in the Zhongzhou state. Back then, he and Jun Lintian had met Yin Luofeng for the first time in the central continent, and they'd almost fought over this genius. Unfortunately, Jun Lintian had beaten him to it, and he'd regretted it for the rest of his life. But even though he was envious, he still felt happy for his old friend. While Mu Dong was feeling gratified by the Jun family's actions, everyone else was also left dumbstruck. Some time ago, Old Master Jun had invited experts from all over the world to participate in the ceremony. These experts were all on their way here. Naturally, they saw the commotion caused by Huang Xiaolong's breakthrough to the high-level Saint Monarch realm. The Jun family already had Old Master Jun. Now that another Saint Monarch had broken through, how could everyone not be nervous? This was especially so for the North Continent's Continent Lord. The moment he thought of the conflict between him and Yin Luofeng, his face contorted. Father. Ling Shuang looked at the ashen-faced North Continent's Continent Lord and frowned slightly. So what if someone from the Jun family has broken through? Don't forget that our backer is the sanest race. Chapter 17:21. Hearing this, the North Continent's Continent Lord relaxed. Not bad. Their Northern Continent's backer was the Holy Maiden clan. So what if you, Jun Xian, broke through to the high-level Saint Monarch realm? It was still impossible to defeat the 3 old men of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Have you found the girl you're looking for? The North Continent's Continent Lord turned to look at Ling Shuang and asked coldly. He didn't like Huang Yingying, and because of Huang Yingying, one of his sons died and the other became a cripple. So he agreed with Ling Shuang's decision. He had to make these women suffer a fate worse than death. Ling Shuang's eyes darkened a few times, and a ruthless glint flashed across his eyes. Huang Yingying is missing. He searched the entire 7 continents, but could not find Huang Yingying. Missing. The North Continent's Continent Lord frowned and asked in a doubtful tone. That's right. Ling Shuang nodded. I've searched everywhere except for a few of the stronger forces, but I couldn't find Huang Yingying. So, I'm guessing that Huang Yingying should be in the Jun family. The North Continent's Continent Lord's eyes darkened. He pondered for a while and said, the Holy Maiden tribe will definitely come to the Jun family's meeting. When that time comes, Yin Luofeng will not be able to escape death. When Yin Luofeng is dead, you can do whatever you want with Huang Yingying. As for why the North Continent Lord knew that the Holy Maiden tribe would definitely come, it was not because the Holy Maiden tribe told him, but because he was certain that the Holy Maiden tribe would not let go of such an opportunity to humiliate the Jun family and Yun Luofeng. But he paused and said, "What makes me uneasy is that I have been trying to contact Xianxia all this time, but I haven't been able to. I don't know what happened to the Sacred Maiden tribe. He's probably busy with other things." Ling Shuang always felt a little uneasy in his heart, but he didn't know where this uneasy feeling came from. It was precisely because he didn't know what made him feel uneasy that he didn't think too much about it. "Father, it's getting late. Should we continue our journey?" The North Continent Lord nodded. "All right, let's continue. Jun family, Yin Luofeng, I'll let you live for a few more days. When all the experts gather in the North Continent, it will be the day of your death." Inside the Jun family, everyone saw the intense commotion and knew that Yin Luofeng had broken through to the high-level Saint Sovereign. Hence, when Yin Luofeng stepped down the back mountain, Jun Linger was the first to rush in front of him. Her adorable little face was flushed with excitement. "Big Sister Yun, you've reached the high-level Saint Monarch realm. Our Jun family is getting stronger and stronger." Yin Luofeng raised the corners of his lips. His gaze slowly swept past Jun Linger's face and gradually landed on the handsome man in black standing in the wind. The moment the man saw Yin Luofeng, the corners of his cold lips curled into a smile. "Congratulations." His voice was hoarse and low, like a palm, teasing her heart. "I've said it before. I want to fight alongside you, instead of being the woman behind you." In fact, Yun Xiao had always been the man behind her back. He was willing to hide all of his brilliance to highlight her existence. But when she was in danger, he stood out to protect her. Such a man should be the center of attention, but he would rather stay by her side as her bodyguard. Ahem. Jun Lintian felt the ambiguous atmosphere. He hurriedly coughed twice and said awkwardly, "Little Yun, your family is here. Ling and Chun are at the front to welcome them. Grandpa and the others are here." Chapter 1722. Yun Luofeng's eyes lit up. In a flash, he had already rushed out of the back mountain. In the front yard, everyone from the Yi and Yun families had already gathered. Yin Luofeng could see his family from afar. Yin Luo, Yin Xingya, Ning Exin, Yin Ruoshe, Old Man Yi, Yi Jun, Yi Xie, and even the group of Yus led by Wu Yin that Yin Luofeng had rescued from the human traffickers. The entire yard was filled with people. Yi Jun and Yi Xie both tightly held onto Jun Fengling's arm, sobbing uncontrollably. Seeing the two children cry, Yin Luofeng felt a soft spot in his heart being stirred. Fenger. Yin Xingya was the first to notice Yin Luofeng's appearance. He had an elegant smile on his face. In a trance, the scene of their first encounter appeared in Yin Luofeng's mind. In the Yun family's cellar, a cold man sat in a wheelchair, holding a book in his hands. When he saw her appear, an unforgettable smile blossomed on his handsome, picturesque face. Now, years had passed. It had actually been almost 10 years since she had come to this continent. With the passage of time, she had also grown from the once bullied trash of the Yun family to her current realm. Yin Luofeng's heart was somewhat moved. She looked at these family members, and her pitch-black eyes shone with a bright light. "Grandfather, second uncle from now on, finally, no one can hurt you." Yes, she had desperately cultivated and risked her life to grow. Wasn't her goal all for these family members that she cared about? Don't look at how frivolous the old man was, and how he always sided with Yin Xiao. If she fought with outsiders, the old man would stand on her side regardless of whether it was right or wrong. Even if her choice was wrong. In her previous life, her parents died early, and she was deceived by her aunt and uncle. In the end, she was thrown into an orphanage and criticized by the world. She had never enjoyed the warmth of family. It was precisely because of this that she cherished these family members so much in this life. Yin Luofeng's old face moved slightly. Even though he was very moved, he would never show it on his face. His old eyes even glared at Yin Luofeng. "Don't say so much useless stuff. Your grandfather has already finished drinking my spirit tea. Hurry up and give me 100 or so caddies. Black lines covered Yin Luofeng's face. This old man was too much of a wet blanket. Fenger, don't listen to your grandfather. Yin Xianxia smiled. In fact, your grandfather's very proud of you and touched by your efforts. However, the old man has never been good at expressing himself. Yin Luofeng shrugged her shoulders. She had long become accustomed to these things that second uncle said. Linger, Jun Lintian, who was following closely behind them, glanced at the crowd and walked up to his daughter with a smile. Tell them to get some rest. These two must be my granddaughter and grandson, right? TSK. My granddaughter is so beautiful, just like your mother. Master. Jun Xian looked at Jun Lintian carefully. Didn't you meet Mistress when she was 17? How do you know what Mistress looked like when she was 5? Jun Lintian's face darkened. It's what I imagined. Can I? Jun Xian pursed his lips. Would he dare to say no? If he said it out loud, his master would definitely beat him to death. Old master. Yin Luofeng seemed to have thought of something and turned to Jun Lintian. When will the ceremony begin? Chapter 17:23. The day after tomorrow. The day after tomorrow? Yin Luofeng rubbed his chin as a glint flashed across his eyes. The day after tomorrow, it will be time for her to settle the score with some people. She would never forget that the North Continent had sent people to the Wuhui continent to cause trouble for the Yi family. Just this alone was enough for her to not let these people go. During this period of time, the Jun city was bustling with activity. Saints that were rarely seen were now abnormally numerous in the Jun city. Similarly, all the forces in Jun city were surging like a tide. Logically speaking, only the higher-ranked forces were qualified to attend the ceremony at the Jun family. Other than the masters of the continents, only the Holy Lady tribe, the Witch tribe, and the West Spirit Academy were qualified forces. Like the Wei family did not even have the ability to enter. But who asked Yin Luo to come to the Jun family? And he had always been greedy, so he came up with a bad idea. He asked Grandpa Jun to make the invitations and auction them. Of course, at the level of the Jun family, those gold and silver items were useless to them. Therefore, those who came to the auction had to take out their treasures to be appraised. This was a chance to get on good terms with the Jun family. Not only could they meet the young lady of the Jun family, but they could also interact with the young lady's children. If they were to their liking, they could achieve meteoric success. Because of this, all the forces did not leave any leeway. Within 2 days, the price of the invitations was raised to an extremely high level. The treasures that everyone took out to appraise were all top-ranked in the continent. In the Wei family, a middle-aged man rushed into the hall excitedly. When he saw the man and the young lady sitting in the hall, his eyes shone with excitement. Master, young lady, I did not disappoint you. I have received an invitation. A look of joy flashed across the face of the Wei family's patriarch, Wei Xian, and then helplessness. This time, for the sake of this invitation letter, our Wei clan can be considered to have suffered heavy losses. Father, you can't say that. Wei Ling smiled. This is an opportunity. The people who came are all the most powerful in the continent. By then, I will choose the most outstanding man in the Wei family and take him as my sworn brother to attend the ceremony. Who knows, he might have the chance to rise. At this thought, Wei Xian sighed softly. It's a pity that you don't have any biological brothers, and you carry the heavy burden of the Wei clan on your shoulders. It's impossible for you to marry out. At most, you can only find a son-in-law. Otherwise, I'm afraid that you won't be able to take advantage of outsiders. Wei Ling smiled. Yi Jingqian's handsome and gentle face appeared in her mind. If she could spend the rest of her life with such a gentleman, she would have no regrets. Father, you don't have to worry about me. Wei Ling hooked her arm around Wei Xian's and said coquettishly, I've already taken a fancy to a man. It won't be long before I make him the son-in-law of the Wei family. Oh, Wei Xian's eyes flickered. He had always been clear about his daughter's taste. For her to take a fancy to a man, that man must have something special about him. You can decide your own marriage. As long as he doesn't have a wife, you can take him as your son-in-law. Wife? Wei Ling laughed coldly. Even if he had a wife in the past, he wouldn't have one in the future. Moreover, she had already spread the rumors during this period of time. She didn't know if the Jun family had heard the rumors. Father. At this thought, Wei Ling snapped out of her trance and smiled faintly. I will go and choose the person who will follow me to the Jun family. As soon as she finished speaking, she let go of Wei Xian's arm. As she walked out of the door, the cold smile in her eyes deepened. Chapter 1724. 2 days later, the entrance of the Jun residence was bustling with activity. Powerful cultivators from various continents appeared outside the Jun residence. Due to the large number of people arriving, Grandpa Jun ordered all the carriages to stop 100 meters away from the Jun residence. Even those arrogant experts had to obey Grandpa Jun's orders. At this moment, outside of the Jun family's gate, Wei Ling gazed at the Jun family's innumerable experts. Her eyes flashed as she turned her head to look at the handsome youth beside her. She solemnly instructed him, "Later, if you see Grandpa Jun's granddaughter, you must do everything in your power to befriend her. Understood?" This young man was second only to her in the Wei family. Even though he was from a branch family, he was talented. More importantly, he was very handsome. She didn't believe that the Jun family would look down on him. Logically speaking, a powerful family like the Jun family would definitely have marriage alliances with other continents. Unfortunately, among the continents, there was only one young lady in the East continent. One of the two young masters in the North continent was dead, and the other was disabled. The West continent was too weak. The young masters in the South continent and the Central continent already had wives. Grandpa Jun would never allow his granddaughter to become a concubine. That was why she had so much confidence in the Wei family. Yes, Sister Ling, the young man smiled faintly, and his eyes were filled with determination. Let's go. Wei Ling took a deep breath and slowly walked into the courtyard. In the courtyard, it was noisy. Various forces had already sent people over, and there were also some acquaintances who were pretending to agree, but secretly opposed to talk. Wei Yu, you have to remember one thing. Wei Ling stopped in her tracks and narrowed her eyes. That man, Yi Jingshun, is my fiancé. If you see another woman beside him, don't be polite. Just scold her. If Jun Fengling heard what Wei Ling said, she would be furious. Even a most good-tempered person would not tolerate such shameless words. Since when did her husband become someone else's fiancé? Especially when this fiancé was self-proclaimed, Wei Ling wasn't talking to the handsome young man. Instead, she was talking to the girl beside her. After all, Wei Ling was the heir of the Wei clan. She wouldn't put herself in danger. Even if Yi Qi and Jun Fengling had committed a grave mistake, they were still in the Jun family's territory. If they were to cause trouble in the Jun family's territory, they would definitely incur the wrath of the Jun family. That was why she had brought Wei Yu along and pushed her to the heart of the struggle. Young mistress. Wei Yu looked at Wei Ling timidly. She bit her lip, and her face was filled with worry. She was also a collateral relative, but her talent was extremely poor. Naturally, she was not qualified to call Wei Ling sister. Instead, she had to call her miss like a servant. This is an order. Wei Ling's face darkened. Don't forget that you're just a good-for-nothing. My Wei family has already done you justice by keeping you alive. If you want your parents to live well, you have to listen to me. Wei Yu's body trembled. She lowered her head and didn't say anything else. Seeing her like this, Wei Ling relaxed her tone. Don't worry, I'm only asking you to say a few words. The Jun family won't do anything to you. In fact, they might even thank you for revealing the true colors of those people, so that Miss Ling wouldn't be deceived. Won't do anything to me? Wei Yu smiled bitterly. If that's the case, why didn't you stand up and say something? Why did you have to push me out? No matter how unwilling she was, she knew that she could only listen to Wei Yu. Otherwise, she might implicate her parents in the Wei family. Chapter 1725. Sister Ling, Wei Feng frowned lightly. This is not appropriate. No matter how bad Yi Qi and Jun Fengling's character is, no matter how blind Miss Ling is, this is the Jun family's territory. Even if Wei Yu were to go out and say these words, it would still implicate the Wei family. Wei Ling glanced at Wei Feng coldly. I've already decided. You don't have to say anything else. In fact, Wei Ling had already made up her mind. The recent rumors had already spread. All she needed to do was add fuel to the fire, and Yi Qi and Jun Fingling's reputation would be ruined. By then, the Jun family would definitely kick them out. Wouldn't they be at her mercy? However, the Wei family had caused trouble at the Jun family's residence, and the Jun family would certainly be enraged. At that time, she would hand Wei Yu over to the Jun family, and she would apologize to them, and this matter would be over. Perhaps the Jun family would even be grateful to her. Godmother, there are so many powerful people in the Jun family this time. This is the first time I've seen so many powerful people. At this moment, a delicate voice came from not far away and fell into Wei Ling's ears. Wei Ling turned around and saw Yi Qi's excited face. Her lips curled into a mocking smile. You're really a country bumpkin, scared by such a scene. Wei Yu, those two women are Yi Qi and Jun Fengling. I'll leave them to you. Wei Yu bit her lips. She finally mustered up her courage and spoke in a sharp voice, perhaps because she thought of her parents. Isn't that Yi Qi, who's been famous in Jun City recently? Her voice was very sharp, and it was very obvious among the conversations of these people. For a moment, everyone stopped talking and looked at Wei Yu in astonishment. It was the first time Wei Yu was being stared at by these people. She was naturally a little nervous, but she still straightened her neck and said, Miss Jun was careless in making friends. That's why she was deceived by such a beautiful woman. This woman had affairs with others and was pregnant many times. But this cruel woman actually aborted the child. However, this is not even worse. It is said that Yi Qi's biological parents were angered to death by her. After angering her biological mother to death, she adopted an adoptive father and adoptive mother. Of course, this adoptive mother is not a good person either. In order to curry favor with the rich, she sold her adoptive daughter. Now, they entered the Jun family only for the Jun family's power. Poor Miss Ling was deceived by them. Wei Yu was a little afraid at first, but she became more and more energetic as she spoke. She even vented the anger that she had been suppressing for years on Yi Qi and Jun Fengling. These two women should be arrested and beaten to death. It is better than lying here. The entire courtyard was silent. Only Wei Yu Ling. Many of the people present were aware of the rumors that had been circulating around the Jun family, but no one had dared to cause trouble in the Jun family's residence. Therefore, when they saw the emotional Wei Yu, they were even more frightened by her. No matter how unbearable Yi Qi and Jun Fengling were, today was a good day for the Jun family. If they wanted to cause trouble, they should have chosen another time. Wasn't this equivalent to angering Grandpa Jun? Ling Feng, family Long Ling, Yi Qi was trembling with anger. She had never been bullied like this in her life. But before Yi Qi could find trouble with Wei Yu, a petite figure appeared in front of Wei Yu. She raised her hand and slapped Wei Yu's face. How dare you? Jun Ling O's face darkened. Her eyes were full of anger. Who allowed you to cause trouble in my Jun family? Chapter 1726. In fact, Jun Linger had also heard these rumors. She had even told Yi Qi about it. However, Yi Qi did not care at that time. The Jun family ceremony was just a few days away. She would be able to distinguish who was right and who was wrong by then. However, she did not expect that the Wei family would dare to point at Yi Qi's nose and insult her at this time. It was precisely because of this that Yi Qi wanted to tear her apart. Wei Yu was so frightened that she fell to her knees. Her delicate body trembled. Miss Linger, I only wanted to expose this woman's true colors because I heard those rumors recently. I was afraid that you would be deceived. Don't be fooled by her false appearance. Jun Linger pointed at Wei Yu. Her lips trembled. She was obviously infuriated. You're talking nonsense. Qi is my... Before she could finish her words, a gentle voice cut in, interrupting what she was about to say. Linger, what happened? Jun Xian walked toward Jun Linger slowly with a smile on his face. Father. Jun Linger turned around and looked at Jun Xian. Her little face was filled with anger. The Wei family framed Qi. With the Jun family's influence, it was not difficult to find out the origin of the rumors. However, The Jun family was preparing for the ceremony at that time. So, they temporarily put this matter aside and planned to settle the score with the Wei family a few days later. Wei Yu hurriedly knelt in front of Jun Xian and kowtowed. Master Jun, please forgive me. I also heard the rumors outside. That's why, rumors? Jun Xian's eyes flickered a few times. He smiled and asked, Can you tell me what the rumors are? Jun Linger rolled her eyes. Her father already knew the content of those rumors. Wasn't it unnecessary to ask now? It's Yi Qi. Wei Yu's face was a little pale. Although Jun Xian had a gentle smile on his face, the aura he exuded made her unable to move. Yi Qi has a bad reputation. She has many lovers outside. Those people are about to barge in. I also heard that she came to the Jun family with ulterior motives. Jun Xian smiled. However, he did not say anything. He looked at Jun Linger and Jun Fengling. It's getting late. The reunion banquet is about to begin. The old man is waiting for you in the banquet hall. He has something to announce later. As he spoke, Jun Xian winked at Jun Fengling with a mocking look in his eyes. I wonder what kind of expression those people who started the rumor will have when they hear what the old man is going to announce next. Mississippi, Wei Yu got up from the ground and turned to look at Wei Ling with a puzzled expression. Wei Ling thought for a moment and said, Let's go in too. After all, it was an auspicious day for the Jun family. It was understandable that Jun Xian did not throw Jun Fengling and her daughter out. Moreover, he was giving Jun Linger face by doing so. Once the banquet was over, Jun Fengling and her daughter would not have an easy time. At the end of the day, the ceremony was just a banquet. The purpose of this banquet was to introduce Jun Fengling and the others to the world and record them in the family tree. This was why it was called a ceremony. At that moment, Jun Lintian had already heard the dispute outside. His old face turned cold and he sneered. It seems like this banquet is destined to not be peaceful. Yun Xiao, who was peeling the grape skin for Yun Luofeng, suddenly heard Jun Lintian's words. His fingers paused for a moment before he skillfully peeled the grape skin for her and placed the glistening grape flesh into Yun Luofeng's ear. Chapter 17:27. The Yi and Yun families took their seats, and the other guests also entered the banquet hall. Apart from the seats reserved for a few continent lords, the seats were basically filled. West Continent's continent lord has arrived. The South Continent's continent lord has arrived. The Central Continent's continent lord has arrived. The East Continent's continent master has arrived. The North Continent's continent lord has arrived. Immediately after, a series of announcements came from outside the door. The continent lords of the various continents had also arrived. At that moment, everyone's eyes were filled with excitement as they looked towards the door. One had to know that it was the first time in hundreds of years that he had seen so many continent lords in one day. Today, their horizons have been broadened. Haha, congratulations to the Jun family's old master for finding his beloved daughter. A few middle-aged men walked in from outside the door. Other than the North Continent's continent lord who had a cold expression, the others all had smiles on their faces. Yun Luofeng did not notice anyone else. Her gaze landed on Hong Wan, who was following closely behind the East Continent's continent lord. Hong Wan also noticed Yun Luofeng's gaze. She winked at her, and a smile appeared on her beautiful face. Perhaps none of them had expected that the battle back then would cause them to get to know each other and become close friends. Old Mu, you're here too. Jun Lintian laughed out loud when he saw Mu Dong, who had just caught up to him. Mu Dong smiled faintly. How could I miss such a good day for the Jun family? Men, prepare seats for everyone. Jun Lintian's face was glowing with health, and his complexion was excellent. The gloominess from before had been swept away. Apart from the Beast Continent, it seems like all the continent masters are here. At the banquet, someone let out a sigh. Beast Continent? The Beast Continent has always been at odds with the humans. It's impossible for it to appear. One of them shook his head and said with certainty. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a dragon's roar came from the void, echoing through the entire sky. The Beast Continent's dragon clan has come to congratulate the Jun family on finding their beloved daughter. Beast Continent's dragon clan? Everyone's expressions changed. Among them, the people from the North Continent were the most excited. What kind of existence was the Dragon Clan? Not only were they powerful, but they were also proud and aloof. Who would have thought that the Beast Continent's Dragon Clan would come to the June family? The North Continent's lord's face darkened bit by bit. He kept consoling himself in his heart. So what if the June family has the protection of the Dragon Clan? The strength of the Holy Maiden tribe is not to be underestimated. They might not lose to the Beast Continent's Dragon tribe. Unexpectedly, before he could walk out of his thoughts, another deafening sound rang out again. I didn't expect that your Dragon Clan would arrive first. I'm an elder of the Phoenix Clan. I've come to congratulate the June family on the orders of our clan head. Phoenix Clan? Heavens, even the Phoenix Clan of the Beast Continent had come. How many forces has the June family made friends with? One must know that the spirit beasts of the Beast Continent were different from other people. These people would come to congratulate the June family for the sake of their reputation. However, the people of the Beast Continent had always been straightforward. So, they wouldn't come all the way here for the sake of reputation. Moreover, it was the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan who had come. In an instant, two figures descended from the sky and quickly walked towards Yun Luofeng and Xianxia. Among the two of them, one wore a green robe and was incomparably handsome, while the other wore a red robe and was exceptionally seductive. I am Dragon Clan's Xianxia. Greetings, master and mistress. It was as if thunder had struck them. Everyone looked at the two men kneeling in front of Yun Luofeng. They were so shocked that they couldn't say a word. The North Continent's lord's body swayed a few times. Fortunately, Ling Shuang, who was behind him, supported him and prevented him from collapsing. Chapter 1728. Jun Lintian's eyes widened with excitement. He never thought that the Dragon and Phoenix clans of the Beast Continent would send representatives to the June family's daughter recognition ceremony. What did this prove? It proved that the Beast Continent belonged to his grandson and granddaughter-in-law. Ahem! Jun Lintian coughed in excitement. You too. You came in a hurry and didn't prepare your seats. How about this? Let's ask the Wei family to give up 2 seats. Wei Ling's eyes widened in shock. There were so many people sitting here. Why should the Wei family give up their seats? However, she didn't dare to ask any questions and could only ask Wei Feng and Wei Yu to stand up. Thank you, Master Jun. Long Shi and Feng Qi didn't stand on ceremony and sat down. To them, it was the Wei family's good fortune to have them give up their seats. The West Continent's West Spirit Academy and the Central Continent's, which Demon Clan congratulates the Master. Just when everyone was excited about the arrival of the Dragon and Phoenix clans, another announcement came from outside the door. Whether it was the Continent Lords or the Dragon and Phoenix clans who came to congratulate her, Yun Luofeng's expression didn't change. Now, when she heard that the West Spirit Academy had come, she immediately stood up and stared at the door with her dark eyes. The first to enter was the West Spirit Academy. Not many people from the West Spirit Academy came. After all, the Academy still needed someone to guard it. Therefore, Elder Su Kong stood his ground and got the opportunity to come to the Jun family. Master, Yun Luofeng looked at Elder Su Kong and called out softly. She didn't live in the West Spirit Academy for too long, but she would never forget the masters who helped her in this life. Little girl, after 5 years, your growth has really made us look at you in a different light. The Void smiled slightly. Back then, the Northern Continent wanted to make things difficult for your family, so I want to stop them with the others. Who knew that something would happen to the West Spirit Academy halfway, so I didn't rush back. Fortunately, before I went back, I had already destroyed the experts sent by the Northern Continent, but I was unable to control what happened next. That's enough. Yun Luofeng smiled. Not long ago, when she was in the Beast Continent, the North Continent took the opportunity to send powerhouses to make things difficult for her family. But they were killed by the Jun family and the West Spirit Academy. Because of this, the Wuhui continent was saved from a disaster. Otherwise, before Yun Luofeng could leave the Beast Continent, the Yi clan would meet with a calamity. Hearing Void's words, the North Continent's continent lord's expression was extremely ugly. He had wanted his son to stand up and say a few words, but who knew that his son's eyes were blank, and his face was filled with shock as he looked out the door. The North Continent's continent lord followed his gaze in confusion, and his expression changed instantly. The saintess of the witch demon race, Huang Yingying, has come to congratulate the Jun family. Under Ling Shuang's shocked gaze, Huang Yingying led a group of people to Jun Lintian and cupped her fists respectfully. Ha! Jun Lintian burst into laughter. So you're the holy lady of the shaman demon tribe. You really do live up to your reputation. Huang Yingying smiled slightly. Not only am I the witch demon tribe's holy maiden, but I am also Yin Luofeng's maid. In this life, no matter what I achieve, I will only be loyal to her. In the entire banquet hall, apart from the people from the North Continent who looked embarrassed, everyone else was surprised. In the Central Continent, the shaman demon tribe would not lose to the Central Continent's continent lord. But Huang Yingying, as the witch demon tribe's holy maiden, was actually Yin Luofeng's maid? How could this be? Ling Shuang shook his head, his face pale. Huang Yingying is the witch demon tribe's holy maiden? How could this be? Chapter 1729. The North Continent's lord's face was equally ugly. If he had known about Huang Yingying's identity, he would not have stopped his son from dating her. What happened next would not have happened at that moment. The North Continent's lord, who was filled with remorse, did not know that his son hated him. Ling Shuang had always liked Huang Yingying. If not for his father's disapproval, she would have been his wife long ago. Huang Yingying's status was originally low, so his father's disapproval was not wrong. But now, after knowing that Huang Yingying was the witch demon tribe's saintess, Ling Shuang felt as if his heart was being scratched by a claw. It was painful. However, Huang Yingying did not even look at him, as if she did not know of his existence. Everyone should be here. Grandpa Jun curled up the corners of his lips. Next, I have something to say. In an instant, the banquet hall quieted down. Everyone's eyes fell on Grandpa Jun's face. Recently, there has been a rumor in Jun City. It is said that Yi Qi of my family has been behaving inappropriately. She had an affair with someone and had a child in secret, angering her parents to death. Her adoptive mother is extremely snobbish, planning to use her to curry favor with the strong. Wei Ling's eyes lit up. She did not expect Grandpa Jun to mention this in front of so many strong people. With this, Yi Qi and Jun Fengling's reputation would be ruined. Moreover, I heard the commotion outside just now. Little girl from a Wei family, I only have one question for you. Do you think that these rumors are true? Grandpa Jun looked at Wei Yu and asked with an expressionless face. Wei Yu's body trembled. She subconsciously looked at Wei Ling. When she saw the warning in the other's eyes, she shuddered and came back to her senses. Old master, these are just rumors. I don't know if they're true or not, but she paused and said embarrassedly, I heard a man talking about Yi Qi's body and he even described those filthy topics. He even knew what Yi Qi liked to do and how lewd she was in bed. He even said, at that moment, Wei Yu only noticed the admiration in Wei Ling's eyes. She did not notice the daggers in the Jun family's eyes. Grandpa Jun smiled coldly. Then, did you hear how many years Chi-Chi has been together with him? This, I'm not sure. I only heard that Yi Qi met him a year ago. The night they met, they slept together, and during that period, she changed many men. Impudent. Bang! Grandpa Jun's palm landed on the table. In an instant, the entire table broke into pieces. His old face turned ashen. Chi-Chi came here 2 months ago, but you're saying that she had an affair a year ago? Wei Yu stared blankly for a moment. She didn't understand the meaning behind Grandpa Jun's words. But she still tried to defend herself. Old Lord, it's true that she came to the Jun family 2 months ago. But she had an affair with someone else a year ago. Grandpa Jun laughed. It was obvious that he was angered by Wei Yu. Although Yi Qi was Jun Fengling's adopted daughter, Jun Fengling had always treated her as his own daughter. How dare these people slander her with such words? Do you know where Chi-Chi came from? Grandpa Jun smiled mockingly. This girl does not belong to the 7 continents. She has only been in the 7 continents for 2 months. The man you were talking about, how did he get to know her a year ago? Chapter 1730. Wei Yu was stunned. Her eyes widened in astonishment, and her body trembled at this moment. He said that Yi Qi came to the 7 continents 2 months ago. What did that mean? Wei Ling's eyes were also full of astonishment. For some reason, a feeling of uneasiness gradually emerged in her heart. Grandpa Jun sneered and waved at Yi Qi. Chi, come to Grandpa. Today, Grandpa will help you and your mother vent your anger. Grandpa, boom! Like a bolt of lightning striking down, Wei Ling's palm trembled and directly knocked over the cup of tea beside her hand. The boiling hot tea fell on the back of her hand, but she didn't feel it at all. Her whole body trembled slightly. Yi Qi was Grandpa Jun's granddaughter? In other words, Jun Fengling impossible. This was impossible. How could Jun Fengling have such a powerful identity? She didn't believe it. Father. Seeing Wei Ling's pale face, Jun Fengling smiled slightly and walked slowly toward Grandpa Jun. These remarks were spread by the Wei family. The purpose is to slander my daughter so that the Jun family will drive Chi and me out. Then, the Wei family can lay their hands on me and even steal my husband. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the Wei family. Even the North Continent, which was still regretting before, was attracted by the sudden change. Steal the husband of the Jun family's eldest daughter? TSK, this girl from the Wei family is so bold. She completely doesn't want to live. No. Wei Ling stood up instantly. Her lips were pale, and she trembled so much that she couldn't even finish a sentence. Her heart was filled with fear, and she wanted to smash her head against the wall. Jun Fengling ignored Wei Ling's weak explanation and said again, back then, Brother Chun and I met the eldest daughter of the Wei family. Moreover, the eldest daughter of the Wei family fell in love with Brother Chun at first sight. She forced Brother Chun and I to enter the Wei family. Of course, she didn't let us enter the Wei family because she wanted to take care of us. Instead, she wanted Brother Chun to marry her. As for me, she was very understanding and said that she would allow me to be Brother Chen's concubine. Everyone in the banquet hall was dumbfounded by these comments. They had thought that Wei Ling was bold enough to snatch the husband of the eldest daughter of the Jun family. They had never imagined that she would dare to make the eldest daughter of the Jun family a concubine. He didn't know where she got the courage and confidence to say such words. Father-in-law, Yi Jingxun stood up at this moment, his handsome face still carrying a gentle smile. The eldest lady of the Wei family also said that the Wei family is one of the most powerful families in Jun City and that she is the successor of the Wei family. If I marry her, it would be equivalent to marrying the entire Wei family, and I would have unparalleled power. She also said that if I am smart, I would know what choice is best for me. Grandpa Jun's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Every time Jun Fengling and Yi Jingxun spoke, the anger in his heart rose. Is my Jun family not as good as your Wei family? Grandpa Jun gritted his teeth. If my son-in-law doesn't choose you, it proves that he is not smart enough, right? Wei Ling's face was as white as paper. She took a few steps back and knocked over the candlestick behind her. Sparks flew everywhere and burned the back of her hand. Wei Yu also fell to the ground, her face filled with despair. She had never thought that by obeying Wei Ling's orders, she would not only destroy her entire life, she would also destroy the entire Wei family. At this moment, Yin Luofeng, who was sitting beside Grandpa Jun, finally moved. She slowly stood up from her chair and said, "The rumors that have been spreading for the past few days, why didn't any of you hear me?" She did not know that her mother and sister would be slandered to such an extent. Chapter 1731. Sister Yin, you were in seclusion all that time. When you came out, you were busy with the ceremony. That's why I didn't have time to tell you about these things. Jun Linger explained in a low voice. Now that I know about it, I must seek justice for my mother. Yin Luofeng's lips curved slightly as he turned to look at the Wei family. A cold light flashed in his narrowed eyes. Wei Ling felt her head explode when she saw the look in the woman's eyes. Her entire body trembled. She would rather offend the king of hell than Yin Luofeng. She had told Uncle Wei this before. But now, she was the one who had offended this woman who was even more terrifying than the king of hell. When the king of hell wanted someone's life, he would at most kill them. But she would make them wish they were dead. Thump. Wei Ling knelt on the ground in fear. She sobbed, "Miss Yin, Master Jun, I really didn't know about the relationship between Jun Fengling and the Jun family. That's why I made such a mistake. Please forgive me." She knew that any excuse would be useless in front of the Jun family. She might as well admit her mistake. Perhaps Grandpa Jun would forgive her on account that she hadn't hurt Jun Fengling. The funny thing was that Wei Ling didn't know that ruining her reputation was also a form of harm. Yin Luofeng glanced at the kneeling Wei Ling. "So you mean that if my mother wasn't a member of the Jun family, then she deserved to have her husband stolen by you? And she deserved to be a concubine?" Wei Ling's face paled. She couldn't speak for a moment. Yun Luofeng approached Wei Ling slowly. "You're begging for forgiveness now. If my mother didn't have a powerful background to back her up, would you let her go?" Wei Ling's body trembled as she felt the approaching aura. She wanted to bury her head in the ground. "If you won't let her go, then why should we let you go?" Yun Luofeng lifted his chin and looked down at the kneeling Wei Ling. "Anyone who makes a mistake must pay the price." Wei Ling looked up and saw the murderous look in Yun Luofeng's eyes. She was shocked and kowtowed to the ground. "Miss Yun, please let me go. I'm willing to serve you as a slave." Yun Luofeng slowly squatted down, his slender fingers tightly grasping Wei Ling's chin, forcing her to open her mouth. "If this tongue of yours is only used to frame others, then there's no need to keep it." "Oh!" Wei Ling's eyes were full of fear, but she couldn't utter a single word. Then, before she could react, a ray of light flashed by, and she felt pain on her tongue. Warm blood splashed out and dyed the ground red. Woo-woo. She hurriedly covered her bleeding mouth, and her body kept trembling, but she could no longer say a word. "Old master." Yin Luofeng let go of her after cutting off her tongue, and said slowly, "Let the Jun family handle the Wei family. I don't want to dirty my hands any further. Anyone who made a mistake must pay the price." No one would condone the Wei clan's willfulness and arrogance. "Men, drag these 3 people from the Wei clan away. We'll deal with them after the reunion banquet." Grandpa Jun waved his hand and ordered impatiently. Even though he didn't say anything, everyone present knew that from now on, the Wei clan would probably be removed from Jun City and cease to exist. Chapter 1732. Mu Dong chuckled. "I didn't expect to see such a good show at the Jun residence. Oh, right, before that, I have to congratulate Xianxia." As soon as Mu Dong finished speaking, everyone turned to look at Xianxia. Xianxia was dumbfounded. Congratulate him? Did he do something big? "Oh," Grandpa Jun was surprised. "What did Xian'er do? Why don't I, as his master, know about it?" Mu Dong's smile disappeared, and he snorted angrily. "Old man Jun, how long are you going to hide it? The Jun family made such a big commotion 2 days ago. Did you think you could hide it from me? What's the point of hiding it? I came to congratulate Xianxia for breaking through to the high-level Saint Monarch. You're still pretending not to know?" The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. "I've been friends with Grandpa Jun for so many years. How dare he hide it from me? This old man clearly doesn't treat me as a good friend. Elder Mu, are you mistaken? I didn't break through to the high-level Saint Monarch." Xianxia was stunned and hurriedly tried to defend himself. "Xianxia." This time, Mu Dong was really angry. He roared angrily. "I saw it with my own eyes. You still want to hide it from us?" "No, Elder Mu, I really didn't break through." Xianxia wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said anxiously, "Xiaofeng was the one who broke through, not me." "You brat, you mean that I saw wrongly?" Before he could say these 3 words, Mu Dong suddenly came back to his senses. His eyes suddenly widened to the size of copper bells, and his entire mouth opened wide. He was so shocked that he couldn't even form a complete sentence. What did he just say? The one who broke through wasn't him, but Yin Luofeng? How old is Yin Luofeng? She's only around 24 years old. Xianxia actually said that she was the one who broke through to the high-level Saint Monarch. "Xianxia, what did you just say? Say it again." Mu Dong forced himself to calm down and continued to ask. "Elder Mu," Xianxia revealed a smile, "you really misunderstood me and Master. If I really broke through, Master wouldn't hide such a big thing from you. This time, it really wasn't me who broke through, it was Fomer. Mu Dong turned his head mechanically and stared blankly at the young girl in white robes. He asked in a daze, Yin Lass, is it really you who broke through to the high-level Saint Monarch realm? Breaking through in seclusion in the back mountains was a huge matter. Yin Luofeng knew that news would spread, so she did not deny it and nodded lightly. When she nodded, the entire crowd burst into an uproar. They were so shocked that they couldn't even say a word. Heavens, a 24-year-old Saint Monarch is truly unprecedented. Why would such a prodigy appear in the Jun family? For a time, the crowd was filled with regret, jealousy, and excitement. Elder Void wanted to open his mouth a few times, but in the end he did not say anything. However, his old face was filled with gratification. 5 years ago, from the moment they accepted Yin Luofeng, they never imagined that this young girl would one day grow to such a powerful level. He was so strong that he caused others to have a whole new level of respect for him. Congratulations. Hong Wan slowly walked forward with an excited smile on her face. That expression made her seem even more excited than her own breakthrough. However, she paused and continued, One day, I will catch up to you. Chapter 1733. Yin Luofeng looked at Hong Wan, who was walking towards him. The corners of his lips curled into an angle, and his jet-black eyes were filled with seriousness. All right, I'll wait for you. Compared to the shock of the bystanders, the expressions of the people from the North Continent were extremely awkward. The North Continent's continent lord's hands trembled. He wanted to clench them several times, but he could not muster any strength. His eyes were filled with intense regret. Of course, he wasn't regretting making an enemy out of Yin Luofeng. Instead, he was regretting that he hadn't recklessly killed her back in the East Continent. High-level Saint Monarch. Ling Shuang muttered to himself. From his expression, it was clear that he had suffered a huge blow. Then, a bitter smile appeared on his face. She's already a high-level Saint Monarch. This time, how are we going to go against her? The North Continent's continent lord had already regained his senses. Don't forget, we still have the support of the Sacred Maiden tribe. I don't believe that the Sacred Maiden tribe can't deal with this girl. Father, Yin Luofeng isn't just a high-level Saint Monarch. She also has the Dragon race and Phoenix race. Ling Shuang deliberately lowered his voice, but it wasn't hard to hear the trembling in his voice. If it weren't for his father and brother, how could he have lost Wang Yingying and fallen into such a situation? All of this was their fault. Oomph. The North Continent's continent lord snorted. The previous matriarch of the Sacred Maiden tribe was a half-step into the Void Realm expert. The Sacred Maiden tribe must have other trump cards, or else they wouldn't have been able to stand for so many years. Although he said so, he didn't have much confidence in himself. If Yin Luofeng had only broken through to the high-level Saint Monarch realm, the Holy Maiden tribe might have been able to kill him. But now, the Dragon clan and the Phoenix clan had already surrendered to them. Even if the Sacred Maiden clan appeared, they might not be able to subdue him. Just as the Lord of the North Continent was trying to convince himself, a beautiful voice came from outside the door. The Holy Maiden tribe has come to congratulate the Jun family. At that moment, the North Continent's continent lord's gloomy eyes lit up, and he smiled smugly. The Sacred Maiden tribe is here. Even if the Sacred Maiden tribe cannot kill Yin Luofeng, they can still make him suffer heavy losses. The North Continent's continent lord laughed out loud, stood up from his seat, and walked out of the door. Under the sky, a group of beautiful women slowly descended from the void. The person in the lead was an old woman in green. She had white hair, a youthful complexion, and a sage-like demeanor. She walked with her hands behind her back and her back straight. She led the group of maids in white behind her into the banquet hall. Ling Zhu, the master of the North Continent, greets Elder Green-Robed of the Holy Goddess tribe. Ling Zhu cupped his fists, a respectful expression on his face. As the North Continent's continent lord, he had reached the high-level Saint Monarch realm many years ago. But at this moment, facing this Sacred Maiden tribe elder, he found it difficult to breathe. Could it be that This old fellow was already half a step into the Void Realm? No, no way. Ever since the patriarch of the Holy Maiden tribe left, there had been no more half-step into Void Realm cultivators. It was probably this old guy's special cultivation method that gave him such a feeling. Yes, among the 3 elders of the Sacred Maiden tribe, the green-clothed elder was the one with the best temper. Hence, when she saw Ling Zhu, who came to strike up a conversation, she nodded to him with a good temper. If it was the green-clothed elder, who was the most irascible, she would have already cursed it out loud. However, the green-clothed elder obviously did not want to say anything more to Ling Zhu. She walked towards Grandpa Jun unexpectedly. Ling Zhu untactfully stood in front of the green-clothed elder, with no intention of letting her pass. Green-clothed elder, you're finally here. I couldn't get in touch with Lady Xianxia during this period of time, so I hastily guessed that something had happened to the Sacred Maiden tribe. But now, it seems that the matter has been resolved. Ling Zhu's face was full of smiles. This is just right. Yin Luofeng has returned to the Jun family. Your Sacred Maiden tribe can send people to kill him now. Chapter 1734. When Xianxia joined forces with the North Continent, she had told him about her feud with Yin Luofeng. What Ling Zhu did not expect was that Yin Luofeng would be so bold as to attack the successor of the Sacred Lady tribe. Wasn't he looking for death? The Sacred Lady tribe must have come to deal with Yin Luofeng. Falmer! Yin Luofeng stood up impatiently, his old face full of anger. Was there no end to the Sacred Lady tribe? First, they went to the Yun family to capture someone, and now they came uninvited. Did they really think that their granddaughter had no subordinates? Yun Xianxia and Ning Xian also stood beside Yin Luofeng, staring at the Sacred Lady tribe warily. After all, they had only been at the Jun family for 2 days, and there were many things they did not know. Yichi had also not told them about this. Elder Greenrobe's face darkened. No matter how well-mannered she was, she could not help but be angry. Who do you think you are? Get out. Ling Zhu was stunned. This elder of the Sacred Maiden tribe really had a bad temper. Could it be that she was angry because he could not help the Sacred Lady tribe? Thinking of this, Ling Zhu smiled. Elder Greenrobed, this time, the North Continent is really useless and could not help the Sacred Lady tribe. Since you are here, then Yin Luofeng will be dealt with by you yourselves. After all, he killed the successor of the Sacred Lady tribe. Yin Luofeng killed the successor of the Sacred Lady tribe? Those who did not know the situation were already stunned. They looked at Yin Luofeng in astonishment. They did not know whether to say that she did not know what was going on, or that she was extremely bold. She dared to kill the successor of the Sacred Lady tribe. Wasn't this asking the Sacred Lady tribe to kill her? At this moment, Hong Wan had already regained her composure. She silently walked to Yin Luofeng's side, using her actions to explain her choice. Seeing her daughter like this, Hong Ling only smiled bitterly but did not stop her. His daughter was all grown up and had her own choices. He could not restrict her like before, otherwise he would only let his only daughter go far away from him. Girl. Elder Su Kong pondered for a moment, then suddenly said, "No matter what, the West Spirit Academy will always be your support. We old fellows will always be your masters. This will not change." In other words, if the Sacred Maiden tribe were to become enemies with Yin Luofeng, then he would be the first to stand on Yin Luofeng's side. Hee, Mu Dong laughed. Little Yun is Grandpa Jun's lifeblood. As Grandpa Jun's bosom friend, I will definitely protect you. Elder Mu, the continent master of the Central Continent's expression changed, and he hurriedly tried to stop him. Unexpectedly, Mu Dong's cold eyes swept over him, and his voice was stuck in his throat. In the beginning, Yin Luofeng didn't know Mu Dong's identity. However, she found out later on that Elder Mu was the master of the Central Continent's continent lord. He was also the previous continent lord. I've already decided on this matter. No one is allowed to interfere. There is no need to mention the Dragon and Phoenix clans. When they saw the Sacred Maiden tribe appear, they stood beside Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao like guards, silently performing their duties. The green-robed elder did not say a word. It wasn't that he didn't want to say it, but Ling Zhu's words scared him. When did she say she wanted to kill Yin Luofeng? Was this brat deliberately framing her? Actually, if Ling Zhu was facing someone else, perhaps the other party would understand the reason in a moment. But at this moment, the Sacred Maiden tribe was in front of him. The ignorant and extremely stupid Sacred Maiden tribe. Chapter 1735. Lord of the North Continent. The elder in green pointed angrily at Ling Zhu, her face full of hatred. Tell me, how did the Sacred Maiden tribe provoke you? Why did you frame the Sacred Maiden tribe? Huh? Ling Zhu was dumbfounded. When did he frame the Sacred Maiden tribe? The elder in green glared fiercely at Ling Zhu. Even the group of maids behind her looked at Ling Zhu coldly. Miss Yun, the elder in green no longer looked at Ling Zhu. She walked quickly towards Yin Luofeng. Her face was no longer angry and cold. It was now filled with a friendly smile. I heard that the Jun family is holding a banquet to recognize relatives today, so I came uninvited. I hope Miss Yun won't blame me. She looked around and saw Lin Ruobai hiding in a corner, gnawing on a roasted pig. She breathed a sigh of relief. Neither the Wei family's insult nor the arrival of the Sacred Maiden tribe attracted Lin Ruobai's attention. In her eyes, there was only the table of delicious food in front of her. However, when everyone saw the smiling face of the elder in green, they were petrified again. They didn't seem to understand what was going on. Hong Wan turned to Yin Luofeng in confusion. Didn't the Sacred Maiden tribe come looking for trouble? But looking at her appearance, it looked like she was here to curry favor. Compared to everyone else's shock, Ling Zhu and his son were already frozen. In their eyes, the Sacred Maiden tribe was their last trump card. When did the Sacred Maiden tribe become so close to Yin Luofeng? Lady Qin Shui shouldn't have lied to them. The elder in green ignored the looks of these people. She smiled and walked towards Lin Ruobai, who was gnawing on a roasted pig in the corner. Greetings, young master. As if she had heard the voice in front of her, Lin Ruobai raised her eyes in a daze. She raised her hand to wipe the grease off her mouth and turned to Yin Luofeng. Master, when did this guy come? Did the Jun family invite him? What made Lin Ruobai even angrier was that this group of bastards dared to disturb her while she was enjoying the food. Only the heavens knew that she hid in the corner to prevent anyone from disturbing her. These blind people were simply unforgivable. You came uninvited. Yin Luofeng curled the corner of his lips and said indifferently. Upon hearing this, Lin Ruobai was immediately enraged. She stood up angrily and pointed at the elder in green. I have already said that I don't want to see anyone from the Sacred Maiden tribe. I am not the young matriarch of the Sacred Maiden tribe. All of you scram. Little Mo patted Lin Ruobai's chest to soothe her anger. Xiaobai, don't bother with these people. Let's not look at her. I'll get you a piece of water chestnut cake. It was obvious that little Mo did not have a good impression of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Lin Ruobai pouted. I don't want to eat water chestnut cakes. I want to eat meat. Okay, then I'll let you eat my roasted suckling pig. Looking at the young couple, the green-robed elder's expression was a little awkward. Young clan leader, I'm here to ask for your forgiveness. I was too rude back then, so go away. Don't think that I don't know that you came to the Jun family to eat and drink. There's no place for you at today's banquet, so don't even think about stealing the food in front of me. Young clan leader, the green-robed elder's mouth twitched. I don't want to steal your food. Oh. Hearing this, Lin Ruobai heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he wasn't here to steal her food, Seeing that Lin Ruobai was ignoring him, the green-robed elder turned to Yin Luofeng awkwardly. Miss Yin, can you help me persuade the young clan leader? Chapter 1736. Yin Luofeng lay down lazily and leaned on Yun Zhao's body. Her eyes carried a demonic and lazy smile. Do you still remember what you said when we were at the Sacred Maiden tribe? Elder Greenrobe's face turned red. They had forced Yin Luofeng to keep Lin Ruobai and had treated her with disdain. Who knew that Lin Ruobai would give up the Sacred Maiden tribe without hesitation and choose to leave with her? Bang! Just as Elder Greenrobed was about to explain, she heard a figure behind her. She turned her head impatiently and frowned. North Continent's continent, Lord. How did I offend you? Why do you have to go against me? She watched as Ling Zhu lost his balance and fell to the ground on his buttocks. The muffled thud interrupted the green-robed elder's train of thought, which caused her to be enraged. Ling Zhu's face turned pale, and his eyes were filled with fear. He couldn't even utter a single word. Didn't Qin Shui say that Yun Luofeng killed the successor of the Sacred Maiden tribe? Then why did her disciple become the young clan leader of the Sacred Maiden tribe? Oh my God, what a stupid mistake he had made. Ling Shuang lowered his head and did not dare to look at everyone's eyes. He only felt that his face was flustered and very embarrassing. I remember that back in the North Continent, you wanted to go to the Wuhui continent to capture my family and use them to threaten me. Yun Luofeng stretched lazily and sat up lazily. The corners of his lips curled into an evil smile, and his black eyes were incomparably cold. Then how should we settle this debt with you personally? Ling Shuang subconsciously looked at his father, but found that his father could not make a sound under the gaze of